Greyhounds hosting the West Oso Bears. This is Real Sports Live. I am Marco Munguia, joined by Jacob Young and Mr. Albert Flores tonight. All three of us will be in the booth bringing you the action, where we have the West Oso Bears who have just run out of their tunnel. West Oso is representing 4A2 Region 4 District 16, where they're coming in off of a loss of week 1. They faced George West last week, and they fell short 38-3. And our host team, the Taft Greyhounds, came off a big win last week. And when I say big, I'm talking about they put up some big numbers against Woodsboro. And here come the Greyhounds. The Greyhounds coming in with a talented backfield, some skilled players in the back. Last week, we had some players of the game. Sean Suarez, senior quarterback, who right now has 106 yards in the air, which is actually good enough for him to be the 4th-ranked passer in the Corpus Christi area. And if you want to talk about showtime, let's talk about senior running back Jeremiah Sanchez. Jeremiah Sanchez had a big game last week, too, 13 carries with 128 yards, and that got him right now in the 5th position for running yards per game in the Corpus Christi area. So we're going to have some playmakers on both sides, because we can talk about the West Oso Bears, who have an electrifying athlete. He can be a slot back, he can be a running back. They throw him out receiver. That's Mr. Richard Carrington. And last week he had a very nice game against West Oso, and I think he's going to be looking for a bigger game today. Jacob, let's welcome you into the show here. What do you have for us tonight?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you basically said everything that there was needed to say. Of course, West Oso, as we all know, they did not necessarily have their best game last week, but considering that, they're still looking for their first touchdown this season, so that's going to be a key as we're just about to get ready to kick off here. So West Oso, look for them to be dangerous, especially in the air, just in case, because, well, the defense looked great for Taft last week, but at that same time, can they keep that happening?
And on the West Oso side of the ball, as far as the offense goes, the junior quarterback, Anthony Pena, will be taking it to the air. He outthrew several of his receivers last week against Northwest, but another week of practice, and they should be ready to go. Mr. Carrington, and here's the kickoff, fellas. It is a short one, taken up at about the 35-yard line.
And a big hit by number 27, Christian Barrios. Now, let's talk about Christian Barrios on the defensive side for the Greyhounds. Last week, he led the team in tackles with 7 tackles, but his big moment was a fumble recovery for a touchdown. And, boy, was he happy about that one.
Yeah, exactly. Very happy indeed from that. Just he basically needs to do exactly that. Has to give pressure every single time, and if he's able to do that, we should see a couple of turnovers from him.
So let's expect a big game on the defensive side from Christian Barrios once again, but here come the West Oso Bears, led by quarterback Anthony Pena, and he hands it off to number 3. That is Zephariah Rankins. And Zephariah actually led the team in carries last week. He was having a hard time finding the holes, but he did lead the team in carries.
Well, look at that. Rankin able to get solid yardage. He got about maybe 4, close to 5 yards at least. So that's a perfect second down. You talk about it. Fantastic job. Now they get closer and closer to that first down marker and don't have to push too much.
Pena handing the ball back off, and he is met by a wall of green. Not much gain there.
We expect West Oso to come into this game with a lot of zone read, and that's what that play there was. As the coach Smithy and his staff had worked a lot on the spread offense, and one of the key plays with the tandem they have of running backs of Carrington and Rankin will be that zone read. And Anthony Pena is quick on the read. If he can pull that ball, he can go around that corner pretty quick.
Yeah, just like you mentioned about Coach Smithy, it's his first year with the program, so they're learning a new offense, and they're going to get things going, hopefully, to compete well and during district time. talking about their district, as we all know, their district was broken into two different zones. We have a north zone and we have a south zone for that region 4 4A District 16. The north zone, with what's also in it, consists of Rockport, Fulton, Ingleside, Sinton, and Robstown. That's a very tough district to be in, especially up here. But then if we were the regular season, you throw in Raymondville, PI, and Rio Hondo. That's a, you know what I'm saying? That 4A District 16, if we would have had a complete season, holy moly. So it looks like West Oso gets herself a 4 and out, punting the ball away. And that's going to give Taft some pretty good room to work here.
And also you look at the breeze will be on the back of Sean. And he can air it out. Last week we saw a big running game, but this week they worked on the passing attack as they try to open it up a little bit here tonight and bring in another mix to the offense as far as running goes. Now they're looking to connect on the passing attack.
And last week, I'm more than sure that Coach Castellano for Taft was very pleased with his running game, so he may want to look to open up the bag and get some passing work in today.
Yeah, it's whatever can work for you early, especially if we see them run it a lot as a quick pass, and that's almost intercepted.
Looks like they're looking for a quick screen down there, and they just read it beautifully. The West Oso Bears read that screen to the T. Their D-line got their hands up and was able for the deflection. Taft, you can say they're kind of lucky that he had lineman hands and not receiver hands.
Yeah.
If that is correct, number 51, that's Mr. Patterson. He was all district for the Oso Bears last year, one of the key defensive players coming into tonight's game.
So here comes Taft back to the line. Suarez in the shotgun looking for number 1, Jarek, with a handoff. Jarek Sanchez finds some room to run and gets himself a nice first down.
Just like that, a fantastic run by Sanchez, what he's continuing to do just like last week. So a nice job there to continue the gain and also get that first down of the game.
Last week we talked about how Coach Castellano could put anybody in the backfield pretty much, and they were going to make a play for him.
Well, one of the keys is the offensive coordinator that they brought in this year, Coach Joel Rios there, and a flag on the play. But, yeah, Coach Rios, everybody knows him as the coach that was at Bishop last year.
Okay.
He is the new offensive coordinator here in Taft. And a whole lot of new coaches will try to cover all of where they come from and what the responsibility is. If there is a flag, gives us a chance to kind of regroup up here in the press box. But, yeah, we see Joe Rios, the coach and offensive coordinator down there, kind of calling the plays along with Coach Castellano. You know, they always have a game plan together. You know, you always have those coaches meetings.
There we go. And here we go. 9:26 in the first. Taft ball. There is the handoff to number 5, and that's given to good old Jeremiah Sanchez, who picks up about 4.
Yeah, picks up 4 yards. Now it's going to be about 2nd down and 11. And, yeah, losing 5 yards or more, yeah, just 5 yards on the last play did not help them indeed, but able to gain it and just trying to regroup basically is what Taft has to do on this ground. Now they're already in Bears territory, so that's a plus.
Taft in the shotgun. Suarez back, looking for a man. Looks like that screenplay they tried the first time, and this time he's made a connection, and he finds himself a little room to run and get some nice little yardage.
That was a big down there for the Greyhounds to pick up, about 7 yards on that screen. So nice blocking up front. You know, and I was talking with Coach Castellano about the size of this offensive line. He says, depending who you got in on the tackles, sometimes you could average 260. If you bring the big ones in there, you're at 290.
There we go. So here we go, rolling out to his left. He finds a receiver, but it's a tad bit short, incomplete.
Yeah, and what it seems like he's been doing, of course, the QB here, Sean Suarez, point being, he has basically been throwing on the run, and sometimes that can be very dangerous, especially when he threw off his back foot there. That was for a plus yards, but, you know, that could be dangerous sometimes in the slot.
You're so correct there. And he has to plan and be looking downfield. He had a wide receiver down there, number 6. I believe that was Adam Liendo,
and
backup quarterback.
And they're going for it on that 4th down. He finds himself a receiver, and it is caught, and it is complete. So Castellano took a chance. He said, let's go. That's confidence. That is confidence in your quarterback, confidence in your line, coming off an incompletion to go for it at fourth down and complete it.
That was Josh Suarez, the little one, the little brother on that reception there for the Greyhounds.
Suarez to Suarez connection, huh? So here we go. The ball keeps moving, and they find themselves some room to run coming up to the left side. That is number 1. And he's still going on his feet. And that's number 8, I believe. And he finds himself the pay dirt. It's 6.
Steven Rivera, the sophomore, gets a chance to score as he went in for, I believe he was lined up in the slot there. A little misdirection play that I could tell from up here on that zone read. And he's in the end zone, the sophomore, Steven Rivera, number 8.
So the young blood gets in there, and he makes everything count. He said, I don't know how many plays I'm going to get in the backfield, so every time I touch the ball, I'm going to try to score.
You said it a while ago, Coach. It's by committee, running backs by committee, right?
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Pettis in for the PAT. I believe it is good.
And
Daniel
it's
Pettis, number 15 there for the Greyhounds with a PAT. And we got all kind of excitement going on here at Greyhound Stadium and all kind of excitement up here in the booth also.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's only going to get better as this game goes by. And we talked about the backfield and how Coach Castellano could pretty much put anybody back there and make something happen. That's something great to have. Now it's going to be West Oso's turn to see if they can come and counteract on this one.
Yep. I would look for the playbook to open up a little bit as far as the Bears go. They had some opportunities on that first possession, but you call Carrington the running back there for the Oso Bears, lining him up in several different positions, and that's what he did that first possession for the Bears. And Anthony Pena just has to do a little bit better reading on that zone read because there are some openings there between the tackles for him to pick up yardage for the Bears go. But we didn't say a whole lot about the defense as far as the Greyhounds went, but there was some outstanding plays from the linebackers. You know, Christian Barrios, number 27, Jarek Martinez, number 33, and those big boys up front on the D-line, they just got to play the block off of because the linebackers are coming to cover.
Exactly. Yeah, that front line for sure for the Greyhounds was the difference maker last drive. So can the West Oso Bears find a better option to get back downfield? That's going to be the key right there.
So 7:42 in the first, and Taft gets on the board first, and here come the Bears, who pull up a little trickery with a handoff reverse, and looks like we have a running room to go. That's number 7 running down that sideline, brings it back towards the middle some, trying to get a little bit more, and finally taken down on the 15-yard line. But there may be a flag on the field.
Penalty marker down. That's going to come back. Most likely a block in the back is normally those cases right there. So it's going to be coming back to inside Bears territory.
Flag right here about the 38-yard line on the Taft sideline. We see the head referee, and we apologize we didn't get the crew's name, but they're out of this chapter here, out of the Corpus Christi chapter. And it will go. You call it right, Jacob. It will go against the Bears. They're bringing it back.
And that's big. That's big. You had a big-time kickoff return. They did a little reverse action, tried to build that wall up the right side, and he had plenty of room to run, and that hurts when you got to take it back. We want to thank everybody for tuning in. It's Real Sports Live. You guys like, share, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're on. We're here for you guys if you guys did not get to make it to the game. Speaking of people at the game, it's looking good. Taft has himself a nice crowd, of course, following all the regulations that should be followed during this pandemic. And West Oso, too, they brought themselves a nice crowd. Good to have everybody here. So here come the Bears now, starting on their about 24-yard line. Ball is handed off to Carrington. Carrington finds himself just a little bit of room to run, and he refuses to go down until finally taken down by that wall of green.
Too many numbers to call out there, and I might have to mic up a little bit here. We under the COVID-19 rules up here in the press box, we're all masked up, and hopefully the broadcast will not be affected by the way we pronounce names and numbers, and try to bring you the best broadcast possible.
Anthony Pena back in the shotgun. He pulls out the play fake, and he's looking for a receiver. He thinks he finds something, and it's almost intercepted, but dropped.
That's number 21, Josh Suarez, a sophomore, he normally has the soft hands. He's a baseball player. Probably the best sport he can play is baseball. That should have been an interception and taken for pay dirt, I would say.
Well, I'm pretty sure he's going to stay away from his baseball coach after this one, and so he doesn't get any comments on that.
Yeah, but even before that, look at kind of the defense right there. They were pressuring the quarterback so much, I think they made contact with him, and that's why that pass was a little short and off the mark.
Peña in the shotgun, has a running back in his backfield. He's looking back for the pass, though, and he finds his receiver. That's number 7, Ryan Garcia, with the great catch for the Bears.
Yeah, fantastic play. I believe that was caught by Ryan Garcia. So Garcia making the grab. Of course, quarterback to wide receiver, it's always going to be a big combination as long as you can get those done, and that's downfield for moving the chains.
Here's the thing on that one. Peña had plenty of time. He had plenty of time. He was cool. He was composed, and he read all of his reads until he found his guy.
Yeah, the junior is a quality quarterback. He just needs more experience, more playing time.
Ball is pitched out, and that goes to Rodella. Rodella came from left to right in motion.
Tripped up there by the sophomore Josh Suarez there, number 21, is what I'm picking up from up here. And right now, it seems like the interior.
TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Today's game is sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
Like, all right, seems like everything seems to be okay. So we're back after that little quick injury timeout with the West Oso Bears having the ball, looking at a 2nd and 8. And there's a big hit on the field. Ball is down, but I think they're going to call it a down ball. And boom.
Absolutely huge play by the defense for the Greyhounds. Exactly what you want to. And
that was strong boy, excuse me, Jacob. That was strong boy, the senior coach. Marco Cerda, number 52. He's waited a long time to do that. And there he is, the senior. And he's stopping like he knows what he just did.
So we're going to take another timeout here, a little official timeout, and we'll be back after this.
Brought to you in part by the Concession Stand in Santa Rosa, a locally owned business providing a terrific atmosphere before or after the games and supporting athletes of all ages. When you're in Santa Rosa, be sure to stop by the Concession Stand and choose from the wide assortment of goodies. An advertising partner with Rio Sports Live is the Concession Stand.
South Padre Island Golf Club. Come for a visit. Stay for a lifetime.
Fans, if you want to look your best at the next game, then let Chewy's Custom Sports go to work for you. From custom designs and graphics to mass production in-house. If it's hats, shirts, buttons, mugs, cups, banners, and more, then Chewy's is there for every team and every sport. A veteran-owned company in touch with the community. It's Chewy's Custom Sports in San Benito.
Come and enjoy 2 full days of Texas Fest on March 13 and 14 at the San Benito Fairgrounds. Experience the Battle of the Alamo. See the fabulous Grammy winner Erida Reina Yavante and legendary Jaime de Anda, plus Los Garcia Brothers, Sereno, H3, Grupo Ácido, huge car show, market days, and join the IBCA State Championship Cook-Off. Take in Native Indian, Folklorico, and Aztec dancers, Reyes dancing horses, and rock climbing wall and games. Don't miss Texas Fest in San Benito.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every day.
But we lost sound.
It's here. It's not there.
And trying to pick it up on the screen. If you can relate to us at home that the game is on, audio and video, we appreciate it. If you could just text us by Facebook, Twitter, whatever you got and whatever you're listening to.
It looks like we're back, and we apologize for our technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. We really appreciate you guys sticking with us. You know, things like this are out of our control. You know, we talk about We want to talk about the pandemic and football just starting up. Well, schools have just started up. And a lot of schools, and majority of schools, are in distant learning, remote learning. So, even we're trying to figure out Zooms and Google Meets and things of that nature. Sometimes the internet's out or internet's slow. So we're all working together, and we appreciate everybody being patient with us as we're about ready to get the game going again, coming out of that injury timeout.
Hey, fellas, well, one thing about to thank Real Sports Live is for reaching out to the Coastal Bend. Without them, this is not possible.
Back to some football now with 5:55 left in the first quarter. Oso trying to make something happen, and we got a complete pass. And let's see if they give him the yardage he needs.
It's going to be close on the marker there. As we look on the far side, it all depends on the spot. It is going to be a first down.
And they give him the first down. So here we go. Maybe Peña has something going. He looks like he's feeling it, and it's flowing. So if he can keep this going, we may have ourselves a fun game tonight. Low snap, ball is handed off right up the middle. Finds himself some room to run, picks up about 4.
With that zone read right there from Peña to Carrington, I believe that was the ball carrier. So many ball carriers also in the game for the Oso Bears. Was that Esquivel, number 10?
Yes, sir. I believe that was Esquivel running hard in that backfield now. So still in that shotgun with Esquivel in the backfield. He pulls out and looks for a receiver. Oh, almost intercepted.
Yeah, just threw it a little too far, but yeah, you mentioned, of course, Benny does have something going. Look at this. They gained some yards with offense, got the first down with some passing, so it's a little bit of a balance, and that's been perfect.
Rivera almost had that pick right there. I don't know. I don't think he was ready for it. He looked up, and he was like, whoa, ball, right in my chest. Peña back in the shotgun. He drops back, a little bit of pressure, and he finds himself a receiver in the middle of the field. And that looks like it was Carrington.
I believe that was Garcia.
Garcia. Yes, Garcia.
Yeah.
And that's the second time he's hooked up with Garcia for that. And it might have been the same play just to the other side. Right in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I'm trying to pick up Carrington. They're moving him all over the field there, number 2. He is their main receiver, main running back.
And that could be part of the game plan. And there's another completion. Looks like he picked up the first down. Yeah. Complete.
Jalen James, their other main receiver, number 5, I would say was a receiver on that reception, number 5, Jalen James.
And they're going with a no huddle. They're trying to keep this ball moving and keep that momentum. And it looks like Castellano says, let's slow this ball down, and calls himself a timeout to make some adjustments. So what are you thinking, Jacob? You liking what you're seeing so far out of West Oso?
Yeah, most definitely, for sure. I mean, you talk about it, it's been very balanced for West Oso. You talk about quarterback having Anthony Peña. Yeah, Peña having really impressive yardage so far throughout this drive. And what I'm trying to get at here is that you've noticed, or at least I've noticed, when he does drop back to pass, he's got plenty of time, but sometimes his passes have been a little overthrown. The wide receivers have come in clutch big time to keep this going for the West Oso Bears. And not to mention, he seems like throughout this drive he's gotten even more and more comfortable to where he's throwing them perfectly on the money.
Well, one thing about it is as far as Coach Smithy goes, he's a spread type coach. And, it takes a little bit of time to get your timing down, get your personnel in the right spots. And we're seeing a lot of underclassmen out on the field for the Oso Bears as far as the skill position goes. And Peña last year was on JV. Here he is a junior. He's getting the chance to call the signals here for the Oso Bears this year.
Peña back in the shotgun. He's looking to pass again. He looks down the field and throws it into a slew of green, which is bobbled and tipped, and finally falls down to the floor for an incomplete pass.
Very scary for a second there for Oso Bears. Had a chance to almost kind of be picked off. It's kind of one of those situations where you don't know where the ball is going to end up going. Luckily for Oso, it was incomplete there.
One thing I've noticed, guys, the way Oso's offense is being run right now, they're taking those linebackers out of the play right now. They're not being a factor at all.
Definitely. They're really spreading the field, getting people out there, and here's a fade to the corner of the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown.
Also, Bears get the first touchdown of the year right there.
And it was a beauty. It was a beauty of a pass from Peña. And on the receiving end, I believe that was number 10, Escabel. Daniel Escabel with the TD catch.
And we apologize, folks. We're high up in the press box, and the lighting here in Taft is not all that great. As the Oso Bear numbers sometimes are hard to pick up, but we'll give credit to Peña to Esquivel, number 10, and we hope that is correct. We have a replay coming up maybe here in a minute.
Yeah, I showed the replay. Sadly, we did not get the touchdown all the way into the deep end zone, but looks like they're going to go for 2. That's going to be incomplete.
Yeah, they were going for the extra point. It was a bobble snap on the deep snap, and they tried to make something out of nothing, but it came up nothing. Mm-hmm. But what a dime. What a dime by Peña. It just seems like play by play, he's growing more and more confident. You know what I liked about that drive? Peña threw into about a triple coverage that play before, where it was bobbled and kicked, and it could have been anybody's ball. But then he came back that next play and threw a beauty of a pass for the touchdown.
You know, and Jacob earlier, you coach, had brought up about Suarez not planning himself. On that particular throw there to the wideout to the corner of the end zone, Peña just planted himself perfectly and released all that ball that he had in his hand, and it was just a perfectly thrown ball to that corner of the end zone. And a great catch on the other end, and we apologize. We're saying Esquivel, but we'll try to get it corrected here. And either way, Oso Bears scored their first touchdown of the year, and they're behind right now on that miscue extra point attempt by a score of 6-7.
But they are on the board, and that is big. And I'm sure Coach Smithy is loving that. And he's going to say, all right, boys, we are now on the board. We have our touchdown in. Let's keep rolling.
Mm-hmm. Big thing is 4:38 still left to play in the first quarter.
Taft receives the ball. Sounds like there's a whistle down. Might have been a flag back here at the kickoff.
Looks like fair catch, I believe, was called. All right, check that. Yeah, it was actually a flag on the play.
We are.
So we'll wait to see the official call.
See, so what?
Ball's going to be spotted at the 25-yard line, Greyhound ball. And here comes the heavies, Coach. We talked about the heavies. I'm calling this one a 290 average on that interior line of the Greyhounds.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, they're in the trenches. Those are the big boys that are going to make or break, and especially with this running game. And speaking of this running game, here it goes with a big gain up the middle, and I believe that was Jarek Sanchez, number 1.
Another fantastic run by Sanchez. You saw how much he also battles inside the middle of the run, basically. He was not wanting to go down in the slightest, but went down a solid gain on first down.
So big gain by Sanchez, and Taft's going to keep rolling. Suarez in the shotgun. He's looking to keep it himself. He finds a tad of room to run and get a little bit more up that right-hand side, and he picks up a nice gain of about 8.
Looked like number 20 saved some yardage there for the Oso Bears, either 28 or 20 being the tackler that was able to bring down, and I believe it was 28 Medina bringing down the ball carrier. Suarez there for the Oso Bears, but a nice gain and another first down. No, I believe what? 3rd and short?
3rd and short. It looks like about 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5. I thought he'd get a little bit more than that, but they placed it down right there. So we got 3:37 left in this first quarter. Ball is handed off to Jeremiah Sanchez, but he's brought down the backfield.
Tell you what, just like we talk about the offensive side of the ball for the Greyhound interior line, the Oso Bears interior defensive side of the ball also has some good-sized young men and some quickness there as they were able to bring down Sanchez there with, a loss of 2 yards maybe?
Yeah.
I want to go back to the Peña touchdown, and the credit went to Jalen James, who made the catch. Jalen James with that big catch from Peña for the Oso touchdown. So here comes Suarez looking for a man. He finds an open receiver just a bit overthrown.
Tried to float it over. I mean, it was a nice job. And wide open player as well, and just try to think about, well, I'm going to heave it a little deep, try to make it work perfectly, but just a little overthrown. So incompletion, and that will officially bring up fourth down.
I believe the intended receiver on that, Coach, was number 15, Daniel Pettis, the junior wideout.
And I'm going to give a shout out and give credit to King Dwayne watching on YouTube, who got us that name of Jalen James, who made that catch. We appreciate you, viewers. Please like, comment. We're on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. We're here for you. This is Real Sports Live.
Encroachment. So I believe encroachment was a call there. So it will still be fourth down, but fourth and short, I believe.
Are we looking at a 4th and 1 situation here?
We are, and that's going to be, Taft, are going to talk it over.
So Coach Castellano calls a timeout. Now, earlier in the game, he took that gamble and he went for it. And that was about a 4th and 5. Now we're looking at a 4th and 1, but our situation's a little different. What are you guys thinking? You think he's going to take the gamble and go for it here?
One thing, the difference is the way the West Oso Bears defense have come to play here in this possession. You know, they come to life after that touchdown from Pena to James. So now it's a little different than it was earlier in the first quarter. Yeah, they gambled. They made that first down. Momentum was on the Greyhound side. But now you got a different look. 4th and short. Yeah, they're talking it over. You got the big guys. I made a comment a while ago. If you come up with a 4 or 5 interior linemen that he had out there to start this series with, they're averaging about 290 pounds. You know, you sub 2 of those guys out, and you drop down to 260. Still big size for Class 3A.
You know, we're going to see here right now, and if it was me, with my line, with that O-line they have, and a runner like Jeremiah Sanchez, I'm going to give him the ball and just go right up the middle. And we're going to see if West Oso is up for that challenge.
Well, they bring in the big line.
Here we go. We got a big set, and the ball is given to Jeremiah Sanchez, who finds himself some room to run in a little bit more, and he gets himself a big gain off that 4th and 1.
Huge gain off of 4th and 1. Just like you mentioned, that's going to be inside Bears territory, as well as ball placed officially down just shy of the 40-yard line. So that's a nice job for Taft. That was a smart decision. I was going to say, yes, you definitely do go for it, and you said it best with the O-line, and that's exactly what they were able to do.
I mean, I'm no football coach. I coach basketball and baseball, but, it's almost one thing to do. When you have guys like that can make those types of plays, and that's exactly what Castellano did. And here we go, off of that new first down, incomplete pass, just a little low and incomplete.
Well, like to give kudos to Mark Quintero, number 64, the junior, who plays one of the tackle positions, and he was in on that particular play for the first down, along with Tony Chavez, number 77, playing the tackle position opposite of Quintero.
And here's a bad snap. It goes right by Suarez, but Suarez is able to recover, and I think that's the last thing that they wanted. They just had a big play, and now they're taking it all the way back. 2:13 in the first quarter still. Score is 7-6.
Yeah, exactly. That won't stop the clock as well. It's still going down. It's going to be about 2 minutes exactly. No 2-minute warning here in high school football, but that's something that we talked about last week. Mistakes will hurt you deeply, and this could be a mistake that, yes, it is early. They can make it up easily, but at that same time, it could be a problem.
So off of the 3rd and 22, the ball is handed off to Jeremiah. Then that's number 8. That's Rivera. Rivera making the most again off of his play time. So he gets all the way back close to the original marker, maybe a couple yards short, but still a big game for Rivera, who's having himself a really nice game tonight.
Well, that was a little different offensive set for the Greyhounds. They had 2 backs split in the backfield there with the quarterback right in the middle of them, more of a pro set coach there than a split spread as we had seen other times. Now they go back to that spread offensive set.
Suarez gets back, and they're going to punt the ball away. Punt gets off. It's a short punt, and it's muffed. but they jump on the ball. Wes Oso saves themselves that muff punt.
Yeah, you take a look at also that play, too. It was a bit of a high snap from Taft, and that caused a shorter punt than Taft would have most likely liked. And then, of course, the muff punt kind of saved them from saved Taft from not being able to make Oso or try to just basically stop West Oso where they were at.
So West Oso defense gets the stop with a little bit of help from that bad snap that went deep. And that hurt the Taft Greyhound offense, but I'm sure West Oso was happy that happened because that helped their defense. So we got about 57 seconds left in the first quarter, and West Oso is looking to do something now. Benya dropping back again, once again, throws it up in the air. He finds himself the ball up in the air, and it's a catch.
How about that? Did not expect it to work. I mean, he was double coverage on the left side near their sideline.
And once again, I believe that was Jalen James, and that guy's just going up for a rebound and saying, that ball's mine.
Well, Coach, you being a basketball player, you know the Oso Bears, that's what they're good at basketball.
Yes, sir. So the West Oso Bears still in that shotgun. Looks like they have a trips left. Benya dropping back, looking for his receiver, but he has some pressure. Finds his safety right there, and he gets a little bit of room to run. That's number 2 with the catch. That is Rashard Carrington. You get the ball in that kid's hand, and things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Able to break the pressure as well. That was a huge thing from, I believe, Pena. So, point being, fantastic play all around, moving the chains with about 29 seconds remaining here in this first quarter.
Benya gets the snap, hands it off to his running back, looking for some room, a stiff arm to the right, tries and dives himself and gets himself a couple more yards. That's number 10, Escabel.
And that was a beautiful technique tackle there by number 21, Josh Suarez for the Greyhounds, bringing down that ball carrier. Looked like he was going to be able to come around the end and pick up some good yardage for the Bears.
Mm-hmm. So Smithy mixing it up now. He was going through the air. He puts it back on the ground. Let's see what he does here. Maybe back to the air. What do you say, Jacob?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that they might go to the air. Of course, they ended the first quarter, but yeah, I think he's got 12 more minutes, basically. He's got just about a fresh set of downs, so it's going to be key. You'll probably see him maybe run on first down and pass maybe on second, or do it totally opposite.
So into the first quarter, Taft up 7-6 on West Oso. Lots of football to play. This is Real Sports Live. I'm Marco Munguia, along with Jacob Young and Mr. Albert Flores with us, a Taft man himself, and he's soon going to be the voice of the Taft Greyhounds. And we're really excited that he's new to Real Sports Live, and he's excited too. He's a fired up guy. We'd love to have you here, Mr. Flores.
Hey, like to thank Joe and all the staff at Real Sports Live. I mean, like I said earlier, venture to the Coastal Bend, and hopefully we can have some exciting games, and we got one here tonight. We anticipated this type of game because the game we saw Taft play last week against Woodsboro, we knew that Woodsboro was a little bit outmatched, and we hate to say that, but, Taft offensive line average is 260 to 290, depends who's in. Their backs are just skilled people. They've played together a while, and coming into tonight's game, we knew they were going to open it up a little bit more on the passing end than they did last week, and we anticipated West Oso to open it up because Coach Smitty runs the spread. I mean, that's his offense. That's what he came to West Oso to do, and that's what he's doing. He's got skilled people that we've seen here already perform to the best of their ability. That catch by James and the throw from Anthony Pena, he had time to throw, was just a beautiful catch. Probably, hopefully our counterparts with the affiliate TV stations had a shot of that, because it could be the play of the night here for the Coastal Bend.
So here we go, the start of the second quarter. West Oso ball on the 27, on the Greyhounds 27-yard line. And here we go with a little dump pass. He's following his blocker. That's number 2 with the ball. Tries to do a little tiptoe dance and gets a couple of yards, but there is a flag on the field.
Try to pick up the tackler there. Different personnel in for the Greyhounds, and it is going to be
a timeout on that flag, and we'll see what the ref will call on the call. And it looks like it could be stepped off against the Oso Bears, the way the Bears are stepping back. But different personnel in there for the Greyhounds on that interior line as far as the defensive side of the ball goes for this possession.
Once again, we want to thank all of our viewers for tuning in, whether you're on YouTube or whether you're on Facebook and Twitter. A big shout out to all the alum from Taft and from West Oso. Way to support your teams on Friday nights.
So after that hold, it's going to be big to gain those yards right back. It's only second down, but of course they still have a lot more yards to gain back.
So now the Bears are ready for the snap. Pena hands it off to his slot man. Gets up to that left side, finds a little bit of room to run, and that is Carrington with a nice gain.
He's their main ball carrier coming into this ball game. They like to put him out in different positions out there in no man's land as far as the island goes, and just let him run which way he can pick a route as far as the passing game goes. And then on that zone read coming back this way, it was a nice little play there. But one thing to keep an eye on is, where is James on this set? Where's Jalen James? And is he at the bottom of the screen or is he at the top?
Well, they come out in that trips formation, and Pena is ready, and he looks like, and he's looking for his man. And once again, that's looking for Jalen James, but that ball is just a bit overthrown, incomplete. So they had James over on an island, just like we were saying. They want him on one situations. We've already seen his catching abilities and his jumping abilities. So they're looking for a mismatch, and they want him to win that match every time.
Well, you got Carrington to the far side, number 2 now. He's coming back in the slot maybe, and you got James down here at the bottom of the set. So we'll see. Now they look like they're going to go both ways. Pena kind of calling the play from the sideline. See what Coach Smitty gives him.
So now set up in a spread formation. Pena drops back, has lots of pressure. He gets the ball off just to get away from that sack.
That's a heads-up play there by the junior, number 9.
A lot of pressure over there by number 60 for Taft. That is Carrera.
Agapito Carrera, the senior, applying the pressure to Anthony Pena there. And like you called it, it was a smart play just to get rid of it, and brings up a long yardage needed for the first here, or I believe the ball
goes over on downs.
Yeah,
that was 4th down.
Yeah,
exactly. It was one of those situations where it's too far to kick a field goal, but it's also too short to try to punt it and pin them deep. So I say that was a nice play, but Taft, the Greyhounds were ready for that.
10:41 in the second. Taft ball now. Ball is handed off. I believe that is Sanchez. And Jeremiah Sanchez picks up at least 15 yards on that play.
That quick action read there from Sanchez. And those legs just keep moving. They don't stop at all. And that's what makes him a strong running back. We commented last week about the powerlifting in him. That showed right there. Those legs just keep pounding away. And that's what makes him a great little running back. He's not very big, but you can see there what he can do with those legs.
In the shotgun, Suarez hands the ball off to his back. Looks like a short gain of about 3. That ball went to Rivera, who's had himself a couple of nice carries and has the Taft's Greyhounds' only touchdown of the night so far.
So they're keeping Rivera in the game along with Sanchez, and little Sanchez comes to the sideline, number 1. And last week we saw 4 or 5 different running backs all in the game at different times, and we're seeing it again tonight.
Suarez gets the snap. It's a handoff to his running back, who follows his block and picks up another about 2 or 3 yards, and that was Sanchez.
Very solid indeed. You gain those small yardage. Of course, not every single play from your running backs are going to be these 5-yard gains or something like that. So nice job. But now, of course, it sets up a 3rd and 7 is what I'm reading, at least with 9:25 at least to play here in this first half. So it's going to be another 3rd down conversion for Taft if they want to get another 1st down.
Suarez finds Sanchez, who makes a little razzle-dazzle, trying to get more than what he had, and he gets up and gains about 4 yards.
And that was all on his own there as he was out there in the island with no blockers. and brings up a 4th down and about 2. And I believe at this point, the way the Oso Bear offense has been moving the ball, Coach Castellano is going to go ahead and punt the ball away and set up Oso deep in their territory.
8:52 in the second quarter now. Taft Greyhound 7, West Oso Bears 6.
One thing to keep in mind is we see the numbers stay out on the field. We see Sanchez, we see Suarez, so they remain in the punting team. So we'll see what can happen. He's under center.
It looks like they're going to go for it, and Suarez drops the ball but picks it up, and he's trying to scoop up that first down, but they're going to call him down. So it's a broken up play, and good job by the West Oso Bear defense to be heads up on that play.
Yeah, exactly. A fantastic job by the West Oso Bears, but it was one of those situations. It is 4th and 2. You will try for it. If you don't necessarily get it, guess what? The Bears are still in your own territory. So that wasn't too bad of an idea to make happen. Of course, unfortunately for them, not enough for a first down, but now West Oso, with that stop, with that turnover on downs, has to be feeling some excitement now.
Well, the West Oso defense is doing a great job. You know, they've given up a couple of big plays, but other than that, they are controlling that side of the ball, and they're doing a great job stuffing and keeping containment. Now it's up to the West Oso offense to finish.
Yeah.
You know, they've had some big plays on their side, but they need to capitalize and help their defense out.
To give up the middle there, Coach.
So a little dive up the middle for about a gain of 1.
And we apologize trying to pick up all those numbers from up here. I believe that was Esquivel in the backfield, number 10 for the Oso Bears, as we keep an eye on Carrington and James, and also Ryan Garcia lined up as trips over here to the bottom of the set.
Ball is snapped. Ball is caught. It is complete. Trying to get a little bit more off of that, but it looks like he's going to lose some yards there. That was over to Ryan Garcia.
Yeah.
And good job by the Taft corners.
That was Robbie Montemayor, the senior, wearing number 10, reading that play beautifully there and coming up with a big stop, because that had an opportunity for a lot of yardage for the Oso Bears.
You know, open field tackles are crucial. Crucial open field tackles, because if you miss an open field tackle, you're going to give up quite a big play.
Yeah, exactly. Able to wrap them up. That is a big thing. You have to wrap them up the first time, not miss the tackle, and that's exactly what Taft have been able to do. You talked about it as well. The Oso Bears not necessarily being able to have their offense work perfectly to their advantage, as I believe
A flag on the play. One of the receivers jumped. Must have missed the cadence on that one. So they're going to come right back to it in a trips formation, trips right. Pena in the shotgun, back, ready for that ball. He gets the ball. He's looking back, and he's going to look deep. He finds a receiver he likes, but it is intercepted by the Taft Greyhounds. That is number 10, I believe, Robbie Montemayor.
What an interception by Montemayor. Looking at the replay right now.
That was number 12, I believe, Coach, and it's hard to pick up, but I give credit to number 12 there on that interception.
Well,
that's Zachary Martinez.
Yeah, because on the previous 2 plays, it looked like Robbie Montemayor had changed positions on him, and they put number 12, Martinez, out there to cover that deep safety position.
You know, Pena had a receiver. He had his receiver. He knew exactly where he was going, but we had Zach Martinez just made a great play on the ball.
Yeah. That's another of the Taft Greyhound baseball players. Plays center field.
That explains it. And here we go. Finds number 21. Suarez finds 21 for Taft. That is off to his Suarez, who's his little brother, I believe.
Brother.
Suarez to Suarez connection. You know, that's always one of those lifelong dreams. You guys grow up in your backyard throwing the football to each other, playing catch, running routes as kids, and then you get to the Friday night and you're able to do it under the lights. What a great feeling for the Suarez brothers.
That trip set to our side of the field, man, in motion there.
And the ball is handed off, and finds himself gets out to the outside and finds a little bit of room and gets that first down. Sanchez with the first down.
Fantastic play by Sanchez. He looked like he didn't have enough space, but he found something out of nothing. And talk about all-star players just like that. If you can't do that, then, of course, yeah, you should be playing a different sport. My point being, that is a fantastic job by Sanchez to make something happen out of nothing in a game. Positive yardage for his team as a timeout was called.
You know, you see NFL running backs and how they're able to adjust their speed. They wait to look and they see the field, whether it's a block that they see or a hole that they see. Sanchez right here kind of played it off. Didn't take his burst yet. He played it, he looked for it, and when he saw that outside, boom, then he took off.
It's that quickness that he possesses, and that's a good point there, Coach. As a running back, you're always looking. And as soon as you see that key block, you break off that hip of that blocker in front of you. That's what you're keying on this type of situation. It was a tight read. Sanchez reads that block, and he goes opposite of the way the block was going and able to pick up the yardage as you bring out, Jacob. And, it's exciting here in Taft tonight, fellas, and I'm glad to be a part of this broadcast. Thank you for bringing me aboard. And you know, what can we say? 6:25 in the
6:25.
Yeah, 6:25 in the second
quarter.
And it feels like we've been playing for a while.
Right.
You know, it's just been a lot of action. We want to thank everybody for tuning in to our game tonight here in Taft, Texas. A beautiful evening in the Coastal Bend area here in Taft, where we have the Taft Greyhounds versus the West Oso Bears. So here comes Suarez, who pulls it and keeps it and calls his own number and finds a big hole up the middle. He's up that left-hand side of the field. He's looking for a block, but takes it out of bounds, but not after a big gain.
That zone read coming off that spread was able to make things happen there, and the senior wearing number 3 just reached it all the way and decides to keep it instead of giving it to Sanchez, and turns it into a big yardage for the night for his yardages plus there. After that run, I believe that puts him at almost about 67 yards for the night as far as rushing goes. And now he looks it over to our side of the field, the Taft side, and see what the next call is going to come from Coach Rios there, the offensive coordinator, calling the plays right here in front of us.
To me, the smartest thing that he did as well is that, well, he didn't want to take the hit. And so I think that they are going to be, yeah, exactly. It was moved back. I thought I did see a flag, but I don't believe it was until after the play that the flag was called. So point being, he didn't take the hit, and so that was a good thing. You don't want your quarterback, if you were a coach, to take hits like that. So a nice heads-up play to know that, okay, I gained this much yards. I know I'm not going to gain any more. Let me either slide or go out of bounds, and he stepped out of bounds.
So ball comes back as the flag is against the Greyhounds. Suarez gets that nice play, but it comes all the way back. And now we're looking at a 1st and 5 situation. 6:16 left in the first half. Suarez hands the ball off. Looks like that's given to Jeremiah. Once again, Jeremiah hits the X button for the spin move a couple of times and gains about 3.
Solid gain for sure, gaining 3 yards. They knew that they needed to gain some yards going back down, and that's only going to be second down. Yes, second down and 2. I thought maybe it was a little bit delayed, but no, indeed. So nice gain there, and only 2 more yards to get the first. It's going to be almost a piece of cake on their end.
Jeremiah Sanchez picks up the first, and the ball keeps moving. So sideline is moving the chains as the Greyhounds get a fresh set of downs. So that run game for Taft is still what they're sticking with, and that's going to be their bread and butter. You know, the bread and butter this year is going to be their backfield and their speed. Suarez comes back out, gives the ball over to his running back. Once again, Sanchez with the ball, coming up and gets a big time, get out of my way, and gets a couple more yards before he finally goes out of bounds.
That's a wake-up there from Sanchez delivering the hit instead of the defensive player coming up and meeting the ball carrier. But a lot of excitement on the field, and the crowd here, like you pointed out earlier, Coach, a good crowd on both sides, but the Taft crowd is really into this part of the game right now. Seeing some excitement out of the crowd tonight.
Suarez hands the ball off. This time it's to Rivera. Rivera finds himself some room to run to get the first down and just a bit more.
Looks like number 53 there for the Oso Bears with a big-time stop, Julius Orteo. And we apologize if we mispronounced some of these names, but we're also trying to give credit where it's due. And Orteo there had a big-time stop as he is playing that hits-up center position there, the nose tackle looks like, and he's read that play beautifully. And as the offensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds looks to the sideline for the next play to be called from Coach Rios there.
Taft back to the line, hands the ball out to Rivera. Rivera has absolutely nowhere to go because number 32 for the West Oso Bears is back there quick, fast, in a hurry. That's Dylan Pettis.
Nice little read there from the linebacker. Shoot the gap and come up with that big-time play.
Yeah, exactly. A fantastic read on the defensive side of things, and I mean, that's exactly what West Oso wants to do. You talk about 3:40 remaining in this first half, but look at how far Taft have been able to go into their own side. With, yes, it's second down, but it's going to be interesting if Taft can get any more yards, and that's another big hit.
And give that hit to credit. Give the credit for that big hit to number 40 of the Bears.
Was that 40 or was
44?
That 44?
Might have been 44. Patrick Garcia, who gives absolutely nowhere to go for Suarez.
Playing that defensive end position for the Oso defense, and he read that one beautifully. He was able to come in full steam. Nothing held him back with a big-time tackle there for the Bears.
So a third and forever for Taft as Suarez drops back and he wants to throw the ball. He finds himself a wide open receiver and it is incomplete. It is broken up. If he would have let him just a little more, he would have had 6, but come up a little short on the run. You know, it's hard to throw the ball on the run. So that's what happened there, and a good play on that by that defensive back to break that up.
I believe that was number 9, Aidan Lindro, and we apologize on the pronunciation. We had a hard time last week with his brother playing the quarterback position, but that's the other brother there, number 9, Adrian Lindro?
Aided Leandro. So, yeah, no, just a fantastic job on the defense. You talk about it. That was moments away from also being caught, so there was somebody right there to just make it work. And a nice punt by Taft. I know they were just trying to pin him as deep as possible, and they got West Oso down to about their own 20-yard line.
So now West Oso gets a chance to score before halftime, which would be a big swing if they can capitalize and get something before the half. We have 2:37 left in the first half of play. Greyhound 7, Bears 6.
And that is the biggest thing that you said. Capitalize. Can they do that? Because the defense, as we talked about, are on top of things. Same thing with Taft. Taft have been down inside not necessarily the red zone, but inside the Bears territory several times, but haven't cashed it in. They've only cashed it in once. So can either side be able to do that?
Peña looking for a pass, but he is met by number 30 for Taft, and that is Bradley Ortiz, who is on his blind side before he could get the ball up and throw it anywhere.
Bradley playing that defensive end position just had a great read and came in on Peña and nowhere to go as far as the throw from Peña there, and Bradley had him all wrapped up.
Peña, they're on the spread. He finds himself his receiver. It's an incomplete pass, but is that behind the line? They're just going to call it incomplete.
Yeah, it was incomplete. There was an intended target there as well, so it was close to also being that exactly, because he was still technically in the tackle box.
And that's a scary play. You know, that ball falls a little bit short, and it's behind that line. Hey, that's a free ball.
Yeah.
If that's a free ball to pick up, they're pretty fortunate that ball went out of bounds.
Believe a little change in the interior line for the Greyhounds there, giving Jacob Gomez some playing time. It looked like number 58 just came into the ball game playing that interior line position, that defensive tackle position.
So we're about 2 minutes until the end of this half of football. 3rd and 15. Peña looking to pass, but there's heavy pressure. He does get the ball off. It is complete, but not much gonna get out of that one.
That was Bradley and Martinez on the coverage there. Martinez, the linebacker, Jarek Martinez, number 33, the senior, getting a chance to play here tonight quite a bit, coming up with a good read along with Bradley. And Bradley just read and dropped back from that defensive end, and Martinez playing linebacker came up pretty quick on that read, and a big down as far as the Greyhounds go.
That's a huge stop. Carrington gets the credit for that catch, but, I mean, like you just said, the defense of Taft was there quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Mm-hmm. And guess what? That's a pretty smart timeout by the Greyhounds. I think that's most likely their last one. But why? Of course, they called timeout. Guess what? It's a minute 51, and they have an opportunity to get the ball back and maybe make something happen before halftime, whether or not it's a touchdown or even a field goal kick to get them a little more cushion.
One thing for sure tonight, we have seen an entirely different offensive side of the Oso Bears that we did not have an opportunity to see on Real Sports Live last week when they played George West Longhorns in Oso. Mm-hmm. Different offensive set. One more whole week of practice makes a lot of difference, and that's what we're seeing here tonight. A heck of a ball game from both sides of the ball as far as the Bears go compared to last week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've seen big things out of both teams tonight, and we can't, like you just said, this is probably a completely different team from West Oso that they were last week, and I can promise you that Coach Smithy did a heck of a job preparing them and getting them ready for tonight, and you can see it here with their play. Takes a huge Bear bounce on that punt that takes it all the way back to the 19-yard line.
I'll tell you what, I saw a heads-up play over here by number 24 for the Greyhounds not to commit to that penalty there, being Brian Salcido, I believe that was. Just wrapped up the punter, came in softly after he knew that he couldn't have a clean shot at blocking the punt, and just wrapped him up. And no call by the referee on that one. That was a big call there.
Yeah, exactly. Very close indeed from being blocked, and also very close from being totally different. But you talk about it. That is a fantastic punt by the West Oso Bears, something that they definitely knew that they would have needed just in case they're not necessarily able to stop the Greyhounds to the best of extent. As long as they can stop them a couple of times throughout this drive, they might be going in there 7-6, only down by 1.
So Taft trying to make something happen with about a minute 30 left in this half, and they get a nice little pitch and catch to gain about 8.
And that was a dangerous pitch and catch there. I believe that was number 1, Sanchez, on the receiving end, but also the defensive back had a chance to pick that one up. If he would just been in there a little bit quicker on the read, it could have been 6 for the Bears. Could have gone dangerously against the Greyhounds there.
2nd and 2, Suarez finds his receiver. That's number 2, who breaks from a tackle, but not much more. He might be about a yard short of that first down. 1 minute left in the first half of play.
Trying to make something happen as the Bears call a timeout. And I thought the Greyhounds would just try to air it out deep instead of going to the sidelines in the little flats as they've have done here. Now, are you content to go in at the half and leading by 1?
Well, I mean, the best thing that they could have done in that situation was just have a heads-up play. As long as, of course, you don't get sacked, you don't lose any amount of yards, you gain something, then it's going to be fine. It's only a 3rd and 2. They have still a minute to go. And guess what? A minute in football, that can be a lifetime sometimes.
Well, try to pick up the personnel here coming as far as the offensive skill people goes. And, of course, it's Sanchez, number 5, in the backfield, along with Little Sanchez in the slot there, number 1. As far as the wideout goes, it's pretty much been the Sanchez show here tonight.
Well, officials are going to call a timeout, and we'll go ahead and take a quick commercial break as they try to figure things out. This is Real Sports Live.
album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
At HCISD, we move the needle forward every day.
We'll blaze a trail for future.
So yeah.
And welcome back. We're out of that timeout. 57 seconds left in this half of football. And Taft is just going to try to pick up that first down on the ground. And I believe Suarez picks it up.
The key is going to be the spot on that carry, and it's going to be close. Yes, it is a first down. You called it from up here, Coach. Great call. You see trips now on this set to the bottom of the set as far as the Greyhounds offense go. Play comes in from the sideline. See what they got up their sleeve here with 37 seconds and counting.
Off of that trips right. Suarez looks back and wants to go long. He does have a receiver, but it is broken up by Wes Oso.
Looks like number 6 there for the Greyhounds, intended receiver.
Yeah, exactly. Intended receiver might have been Adam Leandro is what you're saying there. So nice job. I mean, well, yeah, nice job by West Oso as well as Jason Hernandez, able to, well, break that play up, and a huge breakup considering how far that pass could have gone.
So Taft's going to hand the ball off over to number 2, but he has absolutely nowhere to go, and met by the big boy of Wes Oso and brought down in the backfield, but there's a flag on the play. It might be a face mask call. Let's see.
Yeah, just waiting for the official, but yeah, indeed, that looked like it was a face mask call, or it looked like it was a face mask indeed. It will be against Wes Oso.
Is that the big one?
And big one, I believe, is pass interference, but that still is a pretty good, sizable penalty.
It's going to be about a 15-yard penalty.
Yeah, exactly. That is a big one.
So that'll bring Taft up to their 45-yard line with 23 seconds left in the first half. And let's see what Coach Castellano wants to do.
Well, looks like it is going to be maybe a timeout, but I think the refs might have to reset the game clock here because
I don't think it was supposed to start.
Well, the ref did blow the whistle, but we're about to figure out if it was actually.
I believe he wants like about 6 seconds put back on the clock.
Yeah, exactly. 24 seconds. So,
all right, and here we go. 24 seconds left. Suarez is back. Man in motion. He decides to pull back and looking deep. He does have a receiver, but just a bit overthrown and through the fingertips.
Big brother to little brother. Josh Suarez, number 21, the intended receiver there, and you call it, went right through the fingertips. He was open on that play.
You just did not have the speed. Just needed a couple more inches almost, and it seemed like he would have had it and probably would have been gone for the TD. But now looking at only a second down and 10, 18 seconds left, so they will need to have something going at least on this play right here.
His route was beautifully ran. He had the guy beat. It was just a tad overthrown that he could not reach it. Suarez loses the ball on this play, falls on the floor, but he stays on his feet, and he's going to try to make something, but he is brought down in the backfield for a big, big time loss.
Number 51, Patterson for the Oso Bears coming off that defensive end. Big hits up play by the young man there, number 51. And one thing about that previous play, as far as Suarez goes, Sean, the quarterback, and it is halftime. That was probably one of the best throws of the game so far.
Oh, that was a beauty of a throw from Suarez, just a little bit out of reach for his brother. And that's going to take us into halftime where we have a close game here. And let's talk about this game so far. You know, if we talk about West Oso, their pass game has been big tonight. Bigger than it's been. The only thing is they just cannot finish. They're not finishing and putting it in for 6. So once they're going to make some adjustments, I'm sure Coach Smithy's going to take them back inside, make the adjustments that they need, and hopefully put some more points on that scoreboard. On the Taft side, I'm going to tell you right now what the story's been. It's been penalties. They've lost some big gains due to penalties that were brought back. Mr. Flores, what do you think on that one?
That is so correct on the call from as far as you go. And every time it seems like when they're in sync and they're driving, a flag is thrown, and it has taken them out of that rhythm. And it's hard to produce yardage, produce points when you fall out of that rhythm. And that's what has happened here, especially in the second quarter. First quarter, they were moving at times real smooth, had the play calling going their way. But then the penalties started happening in the second quarter, and it just took them out of rhythm.
Jacob, what's your take on some of the things that both these teams need to do in the second half?
Well, yeah, exactly, and I think you covered it a little bit right there. Even West Oso had some penalties for sure that hurt them. Now it's the same thing with also just a little bit of mistakes, almost kind of. And what I mean by that is just both teams need to be able to cash it in. That has been the big thing. Their offenses haven't necessarily been – I mean, the defenses have been phenomenal. That has been the case a little bit, and I think that's why we're seeing this type of defensive game. But at that same point, you still have to have your offense run smoothly and get downfield. If it's not, if you have some bumps, yeah, it's going to be a problem. Both teams can run the ball, but sometimes they're missing the deep players or just getting a little bit pressured and losing those big yards. So they need to clean up their act just a little bit, and I think if both teams are able to do that, especially on the offensive front, find a little bit more of a hold, then that could be a key.
So we're talking about a lot of the offensive side, but hey, how about we give a little bit of credit to both teams' defenses? We got a very low-scoring game, 7-6, not what we saw last week from as far as scoring goes from Taft. So we got to give credit to West Oso's defense, who's done a great job keeping containment and also getting back there to Suarez quite a bit. What do y'all's takes
on that key there, Coach? Yeah, definitely the defense. Defensive end, and apologize there. Wearing a mask up here, trying to keep with the regulations of COVID-19 is just kind of hard to be able to bring a broadcast, but we'll make adjustments as needed. And so key is the defensive ends of the West Oso Bears. They're able to put pressure on Suarez, and the tackles and the guards are not be able to read. And one key that I see from number 51 is his quickness, being Patterson for the Oso Bears. And I believe last year he was all district for the Oso Bears, and he's picked up right where he left off last year during the playoffs. I saw him a couple of times play in the season, and that playoff game, I believe they played Raymondville down in Raymondville, and he was on all cylinders down there last year. He is a senior, and he's had some outstanding plays here as far as putting pressure on Suarez. And adjustments at halftimes. You got a coaching staff as far as the Bears go. They have a lot of experience in making adjustments. They will have to adjust defensively to put Sanchez not so much out on the island and try to contain him more, because he has been the difference as far as the offense goes of the Greyhounds. On the other end, the defensive side of the ball for the Greyhounds, they have got to pressure Pena more. He's got to have a little bit more pressure put on him, and that could be the key. What does the offensive side of the ball does for the Greyhounds as far as putting Sanchez out on the island maybe more, and the defensive side of the ball for the Greyhounds putting pressure on Pena as far as making him hurry the throws more than having time to set up like he did on that touchdown pass to James there. That was a beauty.
Jacob, any last thoughts before we get into halftime?
Well, just, of course, both teams know what they kind of need to do. And, yeah, it's been a fantastic game, 7-6. You talk about it. Just something that will really make for an interesting game is just both teams. Well, yeah, it's already really interesting, but Yeah, just looking forward to the second half.
Definitely, Jacob. So we're going to get going into halftime break here. We'll be back after a couple of minutes. We're in Taft, Texas. Score is 7-6, and we'll be back. This is Real Sports Live.
It's not just about equipping students with skills for the future. We awaken their potential and empower them to make good choices.
No matter where you're from or where you're headed, there's a place for you to flourish at HCISD.
Hi fans, today's game is brought to you by New York Life. Best of luck to your team.
And I'm Danielle Goslin, and I'm a partner with New York Life Insurance Company. For over 170 years, New York Life has built a reputation of developing the most successful professionals in the industry.
We help to manage the process from day one and guide you on your way to success. If you're looking to challenge yourself and build an insurance and financial service business,
then we would like to show you how we can help.
When in Port Mansfield, be sure to stop in Laguna Madre Baits, the home of Laguna Girl 1 and 2. They ensure that you have the best when it comes to your fishing needs. Locally caught bait, including live shrimp and croaker. Frozen baits, caught locally, frozen shrimp, squid, mullet, and more. Dress the part with full outdoor apparel. Drinks, ice, snacks, groceries, and fishing supplies for any need. Access by road or by boat. Look for the blue building and the blue shrimp boats. Laguna Madre Baits, 828 Westport Drive, Port Mansfield, Texas. TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Laredo.
Sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate, and empower all students to reach their full potential and become leaders of the highest moral character. Sherryland ISD, excellence is our tradition.
This game is brought to you in part by the Concession Stand in Santa Rosa, a locally owned business providing a terrific atmosphere before or after the games and supporting athletes of all ages. When you're in Santa Rosa, be sure to stop by the Concession Stand and choose from the wide assortment of goodies. An advertising partner with Rio Sports Live is the Concession Stand.
South Padre Island Golf Club. Come for a visit. Stay for a lifetime.
Fans, if you want to look your best at the next game, then let Chewy's Custom Sports go to work for you. From custom designs and graphics to mass production in-house. If it's hats, shirts, buttons, mugs, cups, banners, and more, then Chewy's is there for every team and every sport. A veteran-owned company in touch with the community. It's Chewy's Custom Sports in San Benito.
Come and enjoy 2 full days of Texas Fest on March 13 and 14 at the San Benito Fairgrounds. Experience the Battle of the Alamo. See the fabulous Grammy winner Elida Reina Yavante and legendary Jaime de Anda, plus Los Garcia Brothers, Sereno, H3, Grupo Ácido, huge car show, market days, and join the IBCA State Championship Cook-Off. Take in Native Indian, Folklorico, and Aztec dancers, Reyes dancing horses, and rock climbing wall and games. Don't miss Texas Fest in San Benito.
Music lovers, you have to stop and see the assortment of records, tapes, and records memorabilia at Forever Memories today. Located at 237 North Sam Houston in San Benito, Texas, there's over 10,000 records on display and more coming every
Let me just do so.
Are you watching on the computer, or you got? Yeah.
Check one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for all that dead air there. We weren't we didn't know that we didn't have any sound during halftime. We were having some technical difficulties.
Still no sound? No, there's sound.
But we are back, and we're getting ready for that second half. I hope that you guys stuck around, even though, we had some technical difficulties with our sound here. We did have a good interview in here, but I guess it didn't go through. But we are glad to be back. So here we are, getting ready to start the second half of this football game. The Taft Greyhounds are up 7-6 against the West Oso Bears. But this is going to be one of those games that's going to come down to the wire. And the team that makes the least mistakes is going to be the team that's the victor tonight. Mm-hmm. And we're going to see with both teams coming out from halftime. I'm sure both coaches, Coach Castellano and Coach Smithy, have both made those halftime adjustments, both offensively and defensively. So let's see what we have in store for the second half. Jacob?
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be very exciting indeed. Mistakes are going to be key, just like you said. I think that's the most important, the number one key. As always, you limit those, it's going to be perfect. Now, of course, both defenses have been phenomenal so far. Can they keep that up? And the same thing is also you have to run your offense like normal. Both teams fairly even at the moment. The momentum has shifted perfectly, in my opinion. So, really, just like you said, yeah, it's that team that takes advantage of maybe a mistake or just takes advantage of getting good yards forward for them. That's going to be the team that I believe comes out on top.
So we're going to see what goes on here. We want to thank you guys for tuning in, Real Sports Live. Once again, we apologize for the halftime technical difficulties with our sound, but we did have some halftime talk going on, and I guess we just lost sound there for a while until we got back up here and take a look at things, and we realized that there was no sound going through. So once again, we thank you guys for being patient with us, and it is me, Marco Munguia, Jacob Young, and Mr. Albert Flores here in the booth bringing you tonight's game. So to start the second half, Taft will be receiving the ball. Here we go. So kickoff is bounced and picked up, and he has himself some room to run, gets up to about the 40-yard line before being brought down. So that's pretty good field position to start the game, and I'm sure that's what Coach Castellano wanted. Start the game with some good field position to get to work.
That was number 24, Brian Salcido, the return man for the Greyhounds on a short kickoff there from the Bears. One thing we want to see is the Greyhounds going to open it up here to start the third quarter, or are they going to stick to the running game? That's going to be the key. A lot of the offense is geared around how Sean Suarez goes and how Jeremiah Sanchez goes. So that's the key right now. And the big guys are back out on the field as far as the interior line goes. And we could anticipate here quite a bit of running as far as the Greyhounds go from this start of the second half there.
So once again, we want to welcome everybody back to the second half of football. The Taft Greyhounds will start off with the ball. And the ref has blown the whistle, and we're ready to rock and roll. Suarez back in the shotgun. He's going to hand it off to Jeremiah Sanchez, who's already looking to find something big, and he picks up a big 6.
Yeah, exactly. A beautiful gain right there up the middle. So, yeah, I guess to answer your question, it looks like they are going to stick to the run game, which is perfect. Just like we said, it really has worked with them well throughout last week and, of course, even this week, too.
Off of that first burst, I'm thinking Jeremiah Sanchez is pretty hungry. He wants the ball in his hand. He wants to make something happen. He said, enough's enough. And once again, given to Sanchez, who's following his lead block, and he finds himself some room, and before taking down, picks up about 2 yards. The West Oso defense said, we're not going to give you much on this one. And that was a gang tackle by a swarm of Bears.
Yeah, exactly. So here we go, 3rd down and 1. This is going to be a crucial down for the Greyhounds early in the second half.
Big play, and Suarez calls his own number. He does pick up that first down on that tough run. So the Greyhounds are moving the ball, and once again, with their strength, which is their running game. Let's see if West Oso has an answer to slow down this running game. Once again, we've seen big stuff happen between the 30-yard lines. It's after that it seems like teams are having a hard time when they get into those red zone areas. Ball handed off to Sanchez. Sanchez picks up about 3.
That was a quick hitter there by the senior there. All positive yardage. Nice blocking up front but from the interior line of the Greyhounds. It's stick it to the ground game right now. I would anticipate Suarez to zone read, a little fake, and pull back and throw that ball down the sideline to Adam Leandro's right here, number 6.
Ball's handed off to number 1. That's Sanchez as well, and nothing there. Great defensive play by the outside defense of the Bears.
Exactly, and I don't really see them at least passing the ball too much, especially closer to the red zone. It's not necessarily that they're closer to the red zone, it's that the pressure that West Oso brings when they figure out that that's where the Greyhounds are trying to go to. I think that's exactly why they'll probably just hand the ball off.
So 3rd and 10. Suarez was looking to pass, but he pulls it down himself, and he takes the slide, and let's see if there's going to be any flags on the play. They're going to let them play that out. Suarez, was looking for a flag because he slid, and he thought he wasn't going to be eligible to take a hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those plays where it has a chance of being called, but that didn't look too severe. He knew that it was kind of already on the lunge, so maybe that's exactly why the refs didn't call it. But either way, he popped up, he was okay, and so now it's going to be right back to a 4th down.
Big 4th down play, and Suarez had some room to run. If he would have pulled it down, he could have got the 1st down himself, but he decides to be unselfish and throw the ball, and it's incomplete.
That was a big decision maker from Sean to pull the trigger. And you called it. He could have easily had a 1st down and go out of bounds, with no issues. But now it brings up a big decision here for the Greyhounds. And the ball does go over, I believe, right?
Yeah, the ball has already gone over.
That was a 4th down play.
So now it's up to the Greyhound defense. And just like you said earlier, look at this. It's right after they get to the opponent's own territory, basically, that it starts to become problematic for either side.
And like I said, you go inside the 35s on both sides, in the midfield, we're getting big plays and big gains. It's everything after that that's hard to capitalize on. But there is a complete pass as Peña found Carrington for that gain. Looks like a gain of about 9.
And here comes the passing game from the Oso Bears. So they spread the field out with trips and double wideouts and let Peña just pick his receivers.
So looking at a trips left, Peña back in the shotgun. Peña pulls back, finds himself his man. It is caught and trying to gain a little bit more than what was given to him. He does get the 1st down, but there is a flag on the play.
I believe that was Dylan Perez, the receiver, number 32.
Always look at where the penalty marker is down. It looks like it will be against the West Oso Bears.
That's a big step off after that completion against the Bears.
Penalties on both sides of the ball have hurt momentum for both teams. We've had a couple big plays being called back due to those penalties, which can really hurt your ball club. So now we're looking at a 2nd and 15, and looks like somebody jumps on the West Oso side of the ball.
Yeah, exactly. It looked like that was, I believe, Rayshawn Nichols, at least. That's who I saw move. So they're going to be moved back even further, considering where they were, where the 1st down marker is. It's about at the 46-yard line. And now they're going to be moved all the way back down inside their own territory, about close to the 25-yard line. So this is a big it's going to be a big second down.
2nd and 20, and here comes the pressure from the Greyhounds as Peña throws the ball down before he is being taken down.
Number 60, it looks like there. Let's just call the whole defensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds in on that play. I know Christian Barrios was around the ball there, and so was Bradley Ortiz, and among others. But the defense wakes up after those 2 penalty calls against the Bears.
So the Mean Green defense, it really brings it on that play. And it's going to be over on downs, and Taft has perfect position to make something happen here. Suarez pulls the ball and follows his blocker going up the right side of the field. He's at the 10. He gets out to the 5 before being pushed out of bounds.
Nice little run there by the senior Sean Suarez, and a nice read to go around that end and pick up all those positive yardage. And I believe they're inside the 5-yard line there. We'll see where the marker is on the far side.
Well, he had his guard pull him there, and he just followed and said, okay, Bulldozer, you clear the way, and I'll follow the path.
That was one of those 240s, 250s. We're not going to say 290s because average is 260 to 290. It all depends who's in on that interior line for the Greyhounds. But right now it's a key down.
So the Greyhounds knocking on the door on their 5-yard line. The ball is given off to Jeremiah Sanchez, who picks a spin move, and he capitalizes for the touchdown.
Nice run there by the senior for the big score to put the Greyhounds in the end zone. The senior, number 5, Jeremiah Sanchez, showing his knowledge and where to go with that ball.
Just the skill set of Jeremiah, as you saw, with that spin right over on this replay. You see it there, and he's not going to be denied that touchdown. And as we told you earlier, when he first came out that first series, I said this kid looks hungry. He looks like he wants a touchdown, and he got a touchdown here tonight.
Well, that was set up by the defense, guys, and the offense takes over, and here's Daniel Pettis with a PAT, and it is good.
So Taft, after a drought from scoring, finally comes back with 7:19 in the third quarter. Taft now up 14-6.
Exactly, a huge momentum shift. Now they feel like they're taking advantage of, took advantage of exactly a mistake and what their defense was able to provide for them basically as well. So a huge momentum shift once again with Taft. But also what I'm trying to get at too is that now it's up to West Oso to try to make something happen and run their offense solidly as well.
You know the key during the halftime is you let your players relax a little bit, but you also want to make adjustments. And a lot of outcomes in a football game are made there at those halftime adjustments. And right now we got to see what the Oso Bears have done, because we did see the Taft defense make some adjustments there, shut them down on that last possession, and then go in for the score from Jeremiah Sanchez. Now the key is going to be right here. Can West Oso counter that last touchdown as far as their offense goes?
Yeah.
So here we go as Taft is getting ready to kick off to West Oso, and now it's West Oso's turn to see what they can get going. It is received, and it looks like they're going to try to reverse it, but this time there's not much, as the green was there. Earlier they had a nice gain on the reverse like that, but Taft was prepared for that one.
Yeah, still a solid gain considering where the kickoff was, just about 10 to 15 yard carry on that kickoff return. So not too bad for West Oso. You talk about it, but really nice job for the Greyhounds to be ready to not allow it to be worse.
I believe that was Jordan Hinojosa, number 18, one of the first ones down there, along with Jarek Martinez, number 33, among a whole host of Greyhounds on that kickoff team. Be sure that making sure that the reverse did not work that time like it had previously in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Here come the Bears. Peña hands the ball off to his tailback, who finds himself some room to run. That is number 10, Daniel Escavel with a nice little run for a gain of about 6.
Several defensive players had overshot that play there and led to the positive yardage for Esquivel off that handoff from Pena. And the Greyhounds shuffling players in and out, trying to get the right combination in there as far as the interior line goes, as far as the linebackers go. There might be some movement there on the interior line of the Oso Bears. We'll see what happens here. Or is it going to go against the Greyhounds? And Coach there? Yeah, it is. Stepped off against the Greyhounds there. But
that will be now enough for the first down, so they will move the chains. And that's a huge play, a huge flag against the Greyhounds to allow West Oso to continue this drive.
6:28 in the third. Pena drops back, but he has a lot of pressure coming on that blind side right off the corner. That's number 22 for Taft with a big-time play. Jacob Martinez coming on that blind side sack.
Along with Bradley Ortiz, number 30 there. You see Bradley. A little excitement there as that was a big-time play. As Jacob had just brought out, that was a key first down on that penalty, but now they lose what, about 10?
Yeah, exactly like that. As I just watched the replay there, a nice job of being able to just coming close and just really put the pressure on West Oso and the quarterback and that offensive line, and not able to do anything about it.
So now Oso looking at a 2nd and 20. Pena drops back, sticking with the air game. He's looking for a receiver, doesn't have much. And here come the green, and Pena makes a smart play and just throws it out of bounds. But there are some flags on the field.
I don't think there was a receiver anywhere there, and he was out of the pocket.
Mm-hmm.
So we can second guess from up here, but I believe it's going to be called against the Bears there. As Pena did throw the ball as he was being chased there. I believe, who was that, number 2 giving the chase, or number 12? It was hard to get all those numbers, but what is the call going to be? A no call? He picked up the flag?
Well, it just
seems the penalty was declined. That was the case.
Okay, so now we're looking at a 3rd and 20. West Oso ball.
Would have replayed the down. That's exactly why. So instead, it's kind of a loss of down. So that's the penalty in itself.
Great call, Jacob, from up here.
Pena drops back. He wants to find something deep. He throws into some traffic. It's a tip drill, and it's an interception. Going. He's still on his feet, and then finally brought down with flags on the field. It looks like it might have been a horse collar tackle that brought out the flags.
That was number 12, Zachary Martinez, playing that cornerback position. Read that beautifully, and unfortunately there, he picked that one off and returned it about 25, 26 yards there in Greyhound possession.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they practice this in practice. They have what they call the tip drill, where receivers practice tipping it off their fingers and the defensive backs, and we're going to go into a quick timeout.
Your favorite album from the past, first pressings, collectibles. How about a 45 with a single you just have to have? Freddie Fender, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams, Elvis, Beatles, blues, rock, classics, Tejano, it's all here. Organized and priced for you. Forever Memories, 237 North Sam Houston, San Benito.
At HCISD, we move the needle forward every day.
We'll blaze a trail for future generations.
It's not just about equipping students with skills for the future. We awaken their potential and empower them to make good choices.
No matter where you're from or where you're headed, there's a...
All right, welcome back to Taft, Texas, where we come out of that injury timeout. It seems like everybody is A-OK. Once again, big-time interception by our defensive backs over here in Taft with that tip drill. And that was, once again, Zachary Martinez with that nice interception. So that'll give the Greyhounds the ball back with good field position, because there was also a flag on that play. I believe it was a face mask call on that tackle.
You know, excuse me, Coach, I always anticipate when you get a turnover like that, go for broke. So do we throw the ball into the end zone here to one of our wideouts, or do we go to Jeremiah again and let him show his stuff running with the ball? What is your call, Jacob?
I think really right now you kind of you're in a good situation. You got the lead for sure. I think you can safely run the ball, kind of kill the clock. You do have yourself a 15-point lead, and you're closer to the red zone, so try to gain some more yards with something that's been working.
So here come the Greyhound. Suarez finds his receiver, and it's right through their hands, incomplete. It was the right play, the right personnel, but his focus was on that end zone before he caught the ball.
Jarek Sanchez, the intended receiver there, wearing the number 1, and he smelled that end zone. You called it, Coach. And, I always love to see that. You intercept the ball, you have a nice return, go for it. Right out, 19 yards away from pay dirt again, sets you up with no issues. Now you got second down.
Suarez scrambles, and he is brought down. Looked like it was a bobble play there. And they take a loss on that one.
The loss could have been much worse, so that is a good heads-up play. Yes, of course, he did lose yardage, but at the same time, where he could have been sacked was about 10 to 15 yards further back. So a nice job there to make the loss smaller than it could have been.
Well, you got Rivera coming back in the backfield along with Sanchez there. We'll see what the call is from the sideline.
Suarez hands the ball off. Looks like it's Sanchez who picks up some room to run. Gets all the way to about the 11-yard line.
That was Rivera.
Was that Rivera?
Yeah, that was Rivera.
Okay, Rivera gets some love.
Yeah, that's trying to pick the sophomore up there. When he comes in, he's on the far side as far as the halfback position goes, and they drop Sanchez to the near side, and that's the give. It's a zone read, and that particular time, Suarez decides to give it to the sophomore Rivera, and he turns it into some good yardage, going for it on fourth down.
4th and 2, back to Jeremiah Sanchez, who's going to spin once again and gets in there for 6.
Biggest thing, no flags, so that's going to stand.
Yeah, we got to go to, an instant replay here?
Yeah, we'll go to an instant replay.
So after being given good field position, then they go backwards a bit. Rivera gives them a spark. Castellano says, hey, it's 4th and 2. We're going to give it to our horse. And in for the touchdown is Jeremiah Sanchez, his second touchdown of the night.
Great call there from the sideline. And Coach Rios, way to go there. Joe Rios comes over from Bishop, running all kind of cylinders here as far as the offense goes. And he does definitely have an offensive playbook there. Daniel Perez again.
Yeah,
Daniel Perez with a good one there, Jacob. Sorry about that.
Oh, I was just going to say, that was a great kick after touchdown as well.
You talk about soccer. I know Daniel has worked at it consistently to become the kicker that he has, and he does a little soccer style. Not a whole lot, just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. You have to have a good leg in order to make those field goal kicks or make those point after touchdowns. I know I've tried that before, and it sure takes a lot.
Well, it might not be very, very pretty there, Coach, but it's a good one.
Oh, I definitely agree. And the Greyhounds have now opened this game up just a bit with some nice breathing room with 2 touchdowns in this third quarter. And Jeremiah Sanchez gets those credits. That now brings his touchdown total of this short season 4 to 4. So you can tell that he wants it, and he's going to do whatever he needs to do. I really like that little spin move he presses that X button, as though they say those gamers, and he puts on that spin move, and he's in.
Well, he's worked at it, since he was down in the middle school, and he's a great young man, great student. And one key thing is, with all this COVID-19 going on, he was afraid we might not have a season. We had a setback after the first practice of 2 days when they came out. They had to shut down everything for 2 weeks, regroup, and came back. And he made a comment, those 2 weeks that they were laid off as far as team practice goes, him and his brother were still working out, still lifting weights, still working out as far as agility drills went.
And it looks like they go for an onside kick to try to get the ball back, but heads-up play by Wes Oso to jump on that ball, number 33 for Wes Oso.
Jacob Galvan on that key soft touch there. Hey, that was a nice little onside kick attempt there, and here comes Oscar Sturgeon there with that kick and tee. Always on the ball. Make sure that kick and tee does not remain on the field after a kickoff. Way to go. Keto's there with Oscar Sturgeon. And he puts it right there on the 40. He knows where it's at for the next time the Greyhounds kick off.
So I would only believe that Coach Smithy knows that he needs to get this offense going. And let's see if they can get Carrington more involved in this game. We've already seen big things from James tonight. Now let's see if they can get Carrington going here. Peña pulls back, hands off the ball to his running back, who picks up a gain of about 2.
Well, it's number 30, I believe, on that carry.
Terrell Mazzell, I believe, able to gain a good amount of yards. It wasn't terribly a lot, but it was only about 2 yards. But you talk about that, a solid gain for first down, and now, of course, trying to get something going for that second down. And you talk about it, the pressure has been key, and that, I believe, is why they really haven't been able to really make the passing game what it could be.
Hey, guys, I got to get credit on that read from number 33 playing the linebacker. Coach, that's the grandson again.
There we go. There we go.
Jarek Martinez, nice read, young man. And we always talk about the read. There it was. And he was able to bring down that ball, kind of a quick ball carrier there, number 30 was, for the Oso Bears. And good play there, Jarek, after gaining, 2 yards, and that was all. He had a chance to break out, but Jarek was right there on the spot. Nice read. Jarek Martinez, a senior, getting some playing time here from that linebacker position.
Well, penalty marker down on the field, though, so there are talks about a flag, and indeed it will be against the Greyhounds. And I believe it's an offside call.
I didn't see any movement. Somebody could have possibly lined up in the neutral zone?
Might have been possible, but the refs resume play now.
So Oso gets the ball, and it's a bad snap over Peña's head, but Peña's able to recover.
And that doggone defensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds, boy, are they quick to try to pounce on that ball. Great hustle there from that interior line along with the outside linebackers for the defensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds.
So the penalty gave the Bears some yards, but then they give it back and they lose it on that bad snap. Trips left. Peña gets the ball. Looks like there's some flags and whistles being thrown and blown here. Let's see.
I believe it's going to be timeout. I saw the coaching staff on the defensive side of the ball trying to make some adjustments right here to the defensive backs, and they did not move quick enough, so he decided to call timeout. You see Coach Castellano and all the defensive coaches down there talking things over with those backs, and it was obvious. It was a passing down.
Definitely. And on that, we're going to take ourselves a quick commercial break. This is Real Sports Live.
HCISD.
Hi fans, today's game is brought to you by New York Life. Best of luck to your team.
And I'm Danielle Goslin, and I'm a partner with New York Life Insurance Company. For over 170 years, New York Life has built a reputation of developing the most successful professionals in the industry.
We help to manage the process from day one and guide you on your way to success. If you're looking to challenge yourself and build an insurance and financial service business,
then we would like to show you how we can help.
When in Port Mansfield, be sure to stop in Laguna Madre Baits, the home of Laguna Girl 1 and 2. They ensure that you have the best when it comes to your fishing needs. Locally caught bait, including live shrimp and croaker. Frozen baits, caught locally, frozen shrimp, squid, mullet, and more. Dress the part with full outdoor apparel.
And we're back off of the timeout break, and we're ready to rock and roll. 2:42 in the third quarter. Wes Oso with the ball, looking to make something happen. Coming out of that trips right. Peña looking deep. He has a receiver, and once again, it's a jump ball, and it looks like there's going to be a tug of war here. Let's see who they give the ball to. They're going to call it a completion for the Wes Oso Bears.
Yeah, just had to wait for the official call there, but a fantastic play by West Oso as, well, just an amazing grab, because we've seen that happen time and time again, even tonight where it has been a jump ball.
The referees are going to move the chains down, and good call from up here, guys. I still don't know who the number was. Do y'all know who the receiver was? What's the call now?
So, well, either way, I'm going to say this real quick, though. It was pass interference even on that, but of course it was declined because it was a complete catch.
Was that number 10?
It might have been Escabel who comes up with that grab, and once again, Peña floats it out there, and it's incomplete, but the flag comes out, and it looks like it's going to be another pass interference call.
The defensive back never turned on that play, had his back to the ball, and that's going to be the call there. We see the flag come out. It should be a step out there against the Greyhounds, and we anticipated Coach Smitty would air this one out here in this possession, and it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. He knew that he needed to get something going. 2:20 remain here in this third quarter, but that is a big thing. Was what would they be able to do? And yeah, it's down the sideline. It seems like that has been the case. And guess what? Now we're seeing him drop back and quickly pass, and that has been the difference maker, because sometimes when he's waited out in the pocket, he hasn't had enough time to really make anything work, and he's had to scramble out. And as we've seen before, it's either been a sack or an incomplete pass where he's had to throw it away really quickly.
So Oso in the spread make that complete pass. And there was another flag on the field.
This time I think it is going to be against West Oso. We'll wait and see.
I believe it's a holding call against the Bears. It's being stepped off against the Bears there. We'll spot the ball at about the 34-yard line, it looks like, from up here. It's
yeah, at the Greyhound 34, just about. Yeah, you're correct on that.
So ball goes back 10. Now we're looking at a 1st and 20. Spread formation. Peña back in the shotgun. He's going to look to go the air again. He pumps and he finds the receiver wide open, but it's incomplete.
Looked like in and out of the receiver's hand there. Nice throw there from the junior quarterback Peña to his receiver on that wide out slant route there. And once again, folks, we apologize for the numbers. It's on the far sideline, kind of dark. But we're trying to, I believe that was Carrington, number 2, the intended receiver there. He was lined up in that slot out there. And
yes, that was Carrington. And I'm going to tell you this right now, guys. Next time I'm going to be my binoculars so I can see a little bit closer. So Peña pulls back. He pumps, looking for something. He might scramble, but he goes for it. He finds the receiver, and it's incomplete. It is dropped.
In and out of his hands there. The receiver, I believe that was Esquivel, number 10. And apologize, but, we like to give recognition where it's due. And I think that was Esquivel there, number 10. And he had 6 all the way. He holds on to that one.
Definitely. Looks like Esquivel just rolled around from the backfield and found himself a little roll route, and he was wide open. That's 2 big plays that could have happened for West Oso. 1:53 left in the third. Peña back. We're looking at a 3rd and 20. Peña's falling back. He's looking for a man, looking downfield. He finds somebody he likes, but just thrown a little bit out of reach.
Yeah, out of reach indeed. And now you're talking about a 4th down. It's going to be 4th down and long. But, of course, it's that situation where does your kicker have the length to maybe get at least 3 points up? I know they're definitely looking for the full 7. Or maybe, of course, going for 2 and making it 8. But in that situation, it looks like they will go for it.
It's going to be timeout, Greyhounds. One thing I want to keep an eye on the next play is number 52, the senior playing that defensive tackle position, Marcos Cerda, going against number 51, the offensive tackle of the Oso Bears, Patterson, the senior. Yeah. Playing both ways, and Marcos has seen a lot of playing time tonight. That last possession there, the last play, should I say, there was some great blocking being put on on Serta there from Patterson's side, and they both went to the ground. And the key is there was no holding on that play. The referee was right there on top of just watching both of them. Looked like some wrestlers going to the ground together.
Well, I can only imagine with Coach Smith, he's over there riling up his boys. He's probably telling them, gentlemen, we've had every opportunity. You need to execute. Yes, this is a preseason game, but when it comes down to district in a couple of weeks, those are plays that need to be made if they want to make the playoffs this year.
And that's the key. We talked about the playoffs, Coach, in the pre-broadcast. You said the Valley schools, the South Zone only gets one rep as far as the playoffs go because of the number of teams down there?
Yes, talking about West Oso's district, 482, Region 4, District 16. That would have been one of the mightiest districts I feel down here in this area with Rockport, Ingleside, Oso, Sinton, Robstown. Then you have Raymondville, PI, and Rio Hondo. But Oso's going to have to fight for one of those playoff spots because they got a tough north zone, which is now Rockport, Fulton, Ingleside, Sinton, Robstown, and West Oso. So they're going to battle it out up here on the north side, and they're going to be granted 3 playoff spots, where the 4th playoff spot will go to one of the South Zone, the victor of the South Zone, Raymondville, PI, or Rio Hondo.
Coach, when does practice time start for the Valley schools, and when does the season start?
I believe it just depends on what county they're living in, because different counties down the valley have different start dates. So whether it's Willacy or Cameron.
We see Sanchez here on the carry, on the handoff from Perez there, and picks up about 4 or 5 yards as he's run out of bounds. But, yeah, it's so much going on, and it's football like it's never been before.
No, definitely, and you think about these games that these guys are getting in over here, and the Valley teams which haven't even started. So, and the Valley teams are watching games right now. Probably right now we're watching West Oso and watching a couple other games going on, and they're hungry. They're getting hungry and hungry every time they watch a game, especially seeing all this action here in the Coastal Bend area.
Yeah, nice little read there by the senior quarterback, number 3. To pick up about 6 yards on that carry. Nice run, nice read. Gets up a little I got a good hit on me, but I'm okay, Coach. Let me stay in the game. And he's looking over here for the next call from Coach Rios there. We see Jeremiah Sanchez in the backfield checking what the play is being called from the sideline. We'll see what happens here with about 3rd and 2.
And we're looking about the last minute of the 3rd quarter, with the ball being kept by Suarez, and he's trying to find something, and he does find a little bit of room to run, and he's still on his feet. He's at the 50, the 45, and runs out of bounds, but not before a big gain for Suarez.
You know, he's coming of age tonight. Coach, when we met, you asked me about the other quarterbacks, and his time has come. His time has come as a senior, and he's showing it. He showed it last week against Woodsboro, and tonight he's matured quite a bit in 2 games.
Definitely. And I can only imagine what's going to happen in the 3rd game. They say that your team's biggest jump is for your 2nd to 3rd game. So let's see what happens. Jeremiah with the ball tries to find something, but is brought down by the Bears at the line of scrimmage.
Nice defensive play there from the Bears interior line. I believe that was number 51 for the Bears, bringing down Sanchez after a gain of, I'd say, about 2 yards, 3 yards at most.
I believe that was Nathan Reyes with a nice play.
Yeah, nice job by Reyes indeed. And you talk about that as timeout is called, but right before maybe we go to break, either way, just want to finish up what I'm saying. You saw that last play before this one as well, how the quarterback of Sean Suarez had to, or at the end of the 3rd quarter, but how Sean Suarez had to get out of pressure, basically, and was able to do that. Just not able to. So that's something that really, you make something out of nothing. We've seen a couple of times from this Greyhound team.
And that's going to do it for 3 quarters of ball. And we're getting ready for this last quarter here in Taft, Texas, with Taft up 21-6.
Ice, snacks, groceries, and fishing supplies for any need. Access by road or by boat. Look for the Blue Building and the Blue Shrimp Boats, Laguna Madre Baits. 828 Westport Drive, Port Mansfield, Texas.
So let's get ready for fourth quarter ball as Taft has the ball. And here comes Sanchez once again, tries to pick up a little something, but he is brought down by big number 79 for the Bears. That is Jared Pettit. Jared Pettit with the big tackle.
An outstanding tackle there from the big guy. Had his chance to bring down Sanchez, and he was not going to lose that opportunity. Playing that nose guard position. Hits up with that center, number 79. Nice hustle. I think he's breathing a little hard right now after chasing Sanchez down from behind.
Taft has the play in a spread formation. Swat is back in the shotgun. Gets the ball. He's looking to throw, but he's met in the backfield, and the ball is popped out. But it looks like Taft jumped back on it.
Number 44, Patrick Garcia, in on the rush there. Knocks that ball out of Suarez's hand, and Suarez comes out. A little limpy there, looking down at his ankles there. That was great hustle from the defensive side of the ball of the Oso Bears. And you called it. The coach, Smitty, wants something to happen here, and they're bringing all cylinders right now, trying to put the stop on the Greyhounds.
Well, he's saying if you see Suarez in that backfield for a couple of seconds, you guys get back there. So here we have a 4th and 15. And they're going to get into a punt now. And it's a short punt.
Looks
very
like it was
short.
blocked.
They look like they got a piece of it there.
Number 20, it looked like, from up here, got a piece of the ball there. It's Suarez was attempting that punt, but we'll see what the call is. There another flag? What is the call? The head ref there motioning to the sideline about something. Offsides, Bears. So repeat of down, right?
Repeat of down, but I believe that is a couple of yards. Indeed, it is a couple of yards for the Greyhounds, and that looks like that's going to be.
That could have been disastrous right there. It would have set up the Bears in great field position.
Well, 4th and 15, as the Greyhound have lost a couple of yards.
Yeah, I think it was a 4th and 15. Now it brings it down to about a 4th and 10.
4th and 20 is what it was, actually.
Okay. So here we go. Here's the punt.
At least according
it's up. It's received. And he's going to find something to go. He wants to take it back, but there's a flag being thrown on the field.
Might have been another block in the back, as I did see some contact made in the backfield, but we'll have to wait and see what the official call is.
You know, trying to keep an eye on all these players coming off the field. I don't know what the call was there on the block on the back on what player, but several of them came out a little limpy off that particular play there.
Well, you know, we're in that second week, and this is where those conditioning also comes into play. You know, we've had a shortened off season, so on and so forth. And, you know, and we really look at conditioning coming into this fourth quarter, and this is that grind time. This is how are we as far as conditioning? Can we go the 4 quarters? Can you play those 4 quarters strong? Or are you just good for a half? Are you just good for 3 quarters? But this is a 4-quarter game. So we got lots to look forward to. With 10:21 left in this game, still lots of ball to play.
Well, that was the key, Coach, that several coaches that had talked about. With the layoff period, the conditioning is the key. Everybody's kind of seeing what kind of condition the players are in, and a lot of conditioning has to be occurring for them to get up to speed for the 3rd or 4th game is what I'm understanding as far as the conditioning part goes. Play calling, the offense is starting to gel. We see both teams here on the offensive side of the ball starting to gel, but conditioning, you can't make up for that. You got to work at it.
So ball on the West Oso 11-yard line after that penalty. And let's see if the Bears can get something going offensively here. Pena has done a nice job in the air. Let's see if they continue. No, they hand the ball off, and there's a big hole right up the middle, but the ball pops out, and it's a fumble on the play as it looks like Taft jumps on top of it.
Exactly. Was just waiting on the official ruling, but indeed it is going to go to the Taft Greyhounds. And just watching the replay coming off the line, I mean, it was a perfect hole right up the middle. They weren't expecting, but just lost the football. It seemed like it didn't basically survive the ground.
Yeah, he didn't put it away, and the defensive player was able to strip it away. And that's one thing you thought, put both hands on that ball as you go through the line, and then just make your move once you break out. But unfortunately, he didn't have both hands on there. The Greyhound defensive player was able to strip it away. And I was trying to get the number. I wasn't able to get a number. I don't know. We'll give credit to the defensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds on that turnover.
So now Suarez marches his troops back down the field, and they've got beautiful field position on the West Oso 30. Suarez falls back. He finds 21 for the catch. Trying to get in there. Stays on his feet. Does he cross the line? It looks like they bring him down at the 1 yard line.
Big brother to little brother on that play, and we're going to get a replay. And I believe the previous play was on that fumble recovery. I want to give credit to number 22. Jacob Martinez gets the fumble recovery, I believe. And as we go back, we had a replay on it. That was little brother Josh Suarez on that reception, number 21.
So the Suarez connection once again, and the ball is handed off to Rivera. Let's see if Rivera finds it in there. Let's see the official call.
Yes.
And it is a touchdown. Steven Rivera picks up his second touchdown of the night.
Great blocking up front from the interior line of the Greyhounds. I believe that was a 290 average line in there. We go 260 average or we go 290? Inside the 1 yard line, let's put in the 290 average line. And there was some room there for Rivera just to dance into the end zone.
Turnovers and then taking advantage of the turnover. That's huge. And that's probably something that Coach Castellano is extremely happy about. It's one thing to get a turnover, but then it's another thing to take advantage and get points off of the turnover.
Daniel Perez, once again, with that PAT, good. Greyhounds up, 28-6 here in the fourth quarter with 9:43 left. And where is the kicking tee? Where's my friend Oscar? He's on it, Coach. He gave the kicking tee to Daniel Perez there, and he's standing at the 40. He knows where he's going to go, and he knows that after the kick play stops, he is to retrieve that kicking tee.
Always good to have some side hustle on the field, in and off, to help out the teams.
Yeah, Oscar is a heck of a young man. Been around 50 years, give or take. He's. I talked to him before the game. He was giving you guys the roster. He said, "No, Coach said for me to take it up there." I said, "No, Oscar, I'm going to be up there with him tonight. I'll take it to him." "Are you sure?" Because Coach told me to take it to him, and here the roster is right here in front of us.
We appreciate that. Definitely. Good job, Oscar.
Yeah. One thing that I do want to mention, we talked about it last week as well, because, of course, it was the first week. The Greyhounds missed a couple of PATs last week in a 53-0 shutout victory as the ball is kicked away in a nice run. But either way, it seems he's been able to make every single one so far tonight, and that helps you out with also the points, because just like West Oso, guess what? They scored a touchdown but could not get that PAT to go.
Hey, Coach, on those type of kicks there, we call it head hunting. The return is man is looking for the ball, and you head hunting down at a full sprint, and then you had three Greyhounds right there on the ball carrier. Didn't get a whole lot of yardage after he put that ball away. Good head hunting there, and one of those head hunters, Coach, was number 33 again. That doggone Jarek Martinez. He's come to play tonight. The senior, I think he's going to be a little tired after this ball game, getting quite a bit of playing time tonight.
Well, let me tell you. Let's go back to last year. The last time these two teams faced, West Oso beat y'all last year, 36 to 28, which was a pretty high and close affair. And I think this year they wanted to make a statement. Taft wanted to make a statement. But here we go with West Oso, who has some room to run up the right side of the field. That is number 5 with the big run, Jalen James, who's had himself a great game tonight.
That's a nice little play call there. Showed some quickness, showed some speed going down the sideline, the near sideline, and good defensive play there. I believe that was little Suarez. Didn't get was that number 21 on the tackle there?
I believe
Saved
so,
the
yeah.
touchdown. Josh Suarez, the sophomore there, a nice heads-up play playing that safety position.
Exactly, just enough to
Ball.
get him out of bounds.
Ball back to James on the little hitch. And they tried to get it up the middle, but not much there.
These two have been going at it for a good while.
9:16 left in the game. Taft up 28-6. We're going to take a timeout. This is Real Sports Live.
TVNS specializes in provider services, respite care, and emergency response services. TVNS are pioneers in the home care industry, in service for over 37 years. 11 locations from Brownsville to Corpus Christi, from Harlingen to Loretto.
Also trying to find an answer here, and I'm sure they want to put some more points on that board. Pena finds his receiver. It is complete. That is number 11 with the catch, Rashawn Nichols.
And what a catch that was, too. He had it outside as he was getting hit. That's one of the toughest catches to make when you're just getting almost sideswiped in a way. And so just nice job there to really make the reception worth it.
Also had the ball on the 11. They hand the ball off, but nothing much to gain.
I'm trying to pick up numbers here. Was Jeremiah Sanchez the tackler on that previous play, number 5? Is he playing? Yes, he's playing that safety position now, right there in the middle, number 5.
So now West also has a decision to make. It's 4th and 1 on the 12-yard line.
Yeah, you have to go for it. It is, guess what, the fourth quarter. You have 12 minutes to make anything happen every single quarter. So it's 7:40 to go. You have to go for it here. It's 4th and 1, and if you make this, it's going to be inside the red zone. Timeout will be taken, but yes, you definitely have to go for it.
Looked like they had a full house backfield there on that call from the sideline, but wasn't too sure, so he decides to call a timeout. Defensive-wise, you got the big guys in on that interior side of the ball for the Greyhounds there. Some adjustments, and they anticipated that the play could possibly go up the middle. A long one, it looks like, Jacob?
Yeah.
What do you think? A long yard for the first down?
Yeah, exactly. It seems about right. A good yard to try and make something happen to get that first down, to get inside, officially get inside that red zone. You just have to go for it, for just to try to get something going, especially maybe turn the tide a little bit, because you never know what could happen. There's still 7:38 remaining. You're only technically down by, about 4 touchdowns, so it's not too bad.
You can still put some points up on the board.
And I think that's exactly what Oso wants to do. They want to score. I like this big package that they have in the backfield, though. Notice that they have a big man in the back, 2 big men for lead blocks, but the mean green defense gets back there quickly and surpasses those big blockers, and that's number 50, looks like number 58 for the Greyhounds. That gets back there.
Jacob Gomez, the defensive player there on the stop of the Greyhounds, and yeah, Coach, where did he come from? Was he one of the late substitute players that they brought in from the sideline? Because I don't remember him being in on the previous play, number 58 there.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what, a couple of these guys that are getting their opportunities are making the most of it for Taft. And it looked like Oso had the right personnel. They had some big lead blockers in that backfield. It was just the Taft's quickness that got them right underneath. They stayed low, and they slipped through there for the big tackle.
Well, we talked about the condition earlier. Jacob hadn't played a whole lot, so fresh legs might have made the difference on that key play there for the defensive side of the ball of the Greyhounds.
So Taft gets the ball back over on down. Suarez decides to keep the ball. He's still on his feet before being brought down. Gain of about 4.
Nice 4-yard gain to start off the first down drive after, well, getting another 4th down, stop a turnover on down. So, yes, that offense for the Greyhounds just looking to move the ball. Guess what? They can run as much time off the clock as they want. They are in a very comfortable position considering the way that this game has gone.
So we're about the 7-minute mark of the fourth quarter, and we're going to get an official timeout. This is Real Sports Live, and we'll be back after this.
Sponsored by TVNS, the pioneers in serving our community with the highest quality in provider services.
Sherryland ISD, a nationally recognized district focusing on quality and rigorous instruction where every child is immersed in a culture of academic success. A district dedicated to preparing our youth for the future. Our mission is to inspire, educate,
and welcome back to Taft, Texas. The Taft Greyhounds up 28-6 against the West Oso Bears. We have about 6:45 left in our game with Taft in control of the ball. Suarez back in the shotgun, hands the ball off to his running back, which gains very few yards, maybe about a gain of 2.
Nice little play there from the interior side of the ball of the defensive side of the Oso Bears. And couldn't give a number on the, was that Sanchez?
I believe that was Jeremiah Sanchez who picked up a little gain.
It's going to be 3rd down and 5, so it's going to be a little more than they probably anticipated, but 5-yard gain for a first down is very possible for this Greyhound offense. Now, if I had to guess, they're probably going to try to air it out just a little bit because running the ball at the moment has only gotten them so many yards. Maybe they'll be able to break out here, though.
Man in motion. Suarez rolls out to the left. He's looking down the field to a receiver, and it is incomplete.
Nice little comeback attempt there. It looked like was that number 2 or was that a number 6? Or was I way off? Hey, it's hard to tell on that far sideline. But anyway, it was a nice attempt to come back and catch up with that ball, but to did not prevail with that first down attempt. Now we bring up, 4th and 5?
Yes, Taft is now looking at a 4th and 5, and it looks like they're set up. Or they're going to, let's see here.
The play clock down to 11, 10, 9, 8, so they're going to have to snap it pretty fast, and it does look like they will indeed punt.
And they adjust to get into that punt. There's a lot of pressure, and a flag is thrown in the backfield. And it might be a roughing the punter call.
Sanchez was the punter for the Greyhounds there, and good thing he comes right up after that block from it looked like they're going to give credit to Patterson on the block, but also ran into the punter there, and they are going to call it. Is that going to be an intentional? Is that going to be enough for a first down? We'll see what the call is from the referees down on the field here.
Yeah, so there's always 2 roughing the kicker penalties. One is worse than the other. One's about, I believe, a 15-yarder, and one is about a 5-yarder. So I think both would give them a first down either way.
Well, they're going to discuss it. 5:37 left on the clock. Greyhounds on top. And Jeremiah Sanchez was the punter that got roughed up there, and he is okay. So now what is the call? They're discussing it deeply. They want to make the right call.
Definitely. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Real Sports Live. Whether you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, we want to remember and let everybody know to like, share, and tell your friends to join on Real Sports Live. We have Friday night football going on in the Coastal Bend area. And soon enough, we're going to branch back down to the Rio Grande Valley when that starts to open up too. There'll be lots of sports for you sports fans on Real Sports Live.
That's why they call it in Texas Friday Night Lights.
Mm-hmm.
So Taft is going to get the ball back. 1st and 10 on the 24-yard line. Suarez hands the ball off, but the Oso defense is back there pretty quickly for a gain of none.
Looked like a little mix-up in the backfield there between the two backs crossing, and able to get the handoff with Suarez and able to keep possession of that was Jeremiah. Looked like him and Steven got crossed up a little bit back there, number 8 being Steven Rivera. Clock all Taft's favorite right now.
And they'll probably run the ball, just run that ball and run that clock. We're at about almost a 5-minute mark left in this game. And they're going to let those seconds tick away, and they're in no rush to get off the play.
Looking to next week, the Greyhounds will travel to Buckaroo Country down in Freer.
And that's what I see here on the schedule. Next week, the Taft Greyhounds headed to Freer, while West Oso is going to be at home versus Odom.
That'll be a good matchup there. And haven't seen Freer in the past. The Freer Buckaroos were in the same district as Taft, and we played them several years back in the playoffs over at Tolosa Midway. So now we ventured down there, and this schedule was all put together after this situation with the COVID-19, as you brought out a few minutes ago. The Valley, when they get going, the Coastal Bend is going. There's going to be a lot of Friday night football.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, and I know Freer just a couple of years ago went down to that 2A level, so they're in that district with Bruni, I believe, and Bruni and Fremont. Who else is in there? I think Binbolt's season was canceled this year, as they made that decision pretty early on.
I believe they're also in the same district as Three Rivers and Refugio.
Okay, so they're up there. Okay.
Yeah, it's spread like that away. We call brush country. As far as the 2A goes.
With alignments, everything's different. Football's different. Basketball's different. Baseball's different. There's just different alignments for every sport.
Mm-hmm. Best way to keep up with it is go to the UIL website and look at the alignments.
Handoff for a short gain, as they're just really working the clock now. 4:30.
That was Rivera on that carry for about 2 yards, 3 yards, maybe the most.
And speaking of Rivera, he has 2 touchdowns tonight, and so does his running back partner, Jeremiah Sanchez. So they both have 2 touchdowns each tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the things we featured last week when they played Woodsboro. We talked about the backfield, and before this game started, we talked about the backfield once again. Mm-hmm. And Coach Castellano has to be pleased not only with his backfield, but with his offensive line.
Mm-hmm. A little different setup in the backfield. I was trying to see what the lineman was going to be like. It looked like number 11 back there was going to take the snap. Then Suarez comes back in, and Chavez moves out of the way, and
maybe Coach is just trying to mix a couple of things out and see some people in different places that, you never know what could happen down the road.
Yeah. Well, that was Joseph Chavez, number 11, that was getting ready to take the snap, and then Suarez comes in there and tells him, hey, move over some. It's my snap coming. We see Jeremiah Sanchez pretty well done. He's on the sideline maybe for the night, with 3:46 and counting here, and everybody's checking their armband, see what the next play from the sideline is going to be. And here goes Chavez off to the side.
All right, so Suarez gets the ball. He calls his own number. He takes it, trying to get some, and he does get some. And now he's at the 35, up to the 40, and runs out of bounds at about the 42-yard line.
Nice little pickup there from Chavez, and we'll have a replay on that play. But, the key to that run was just get out of bounds, and the game's in hand right now. You do not want to risk anything. You're playing great tonight. You got a W coming. Just play it safe. Be safe.
Exactly, and that's what he's been doing all night too. You mentioned it, and even I saw it earlier in the game where it was still about 7-6. It was still a very close game. He was still able to. He reads the field perfectly where he's able to run. He sees the defender coming, basically. He sees the defensive line and goes out of bounds. He doesn't want to get hurt. We've seen him slide. He's very smart with his when it comes down to not taking a big hit.
Ball handed off to Chavez, and Chavez says, "Come and get me," as he takes the hit and gives the hit back. So big time run by number 11, Chavez.
The Southmore getting an opportunity with Jeremiah and Jarek on the sideline along with Rivera. It's his turn. Number 11, the Southmore. Joseph Chavez with a nice pickup, and he did deliver the hit there, Coach.
I can't say this enough about Coach Castellano having the luxury of putting anybody in that backfield and them really bringing it and making something special happen every time. Once again, ball is handed off, and looks like Chavez gets the ball again to pick up the first down.
Well, it's going to be a close spot there. Maybe.
They will move the chains.
It is. Yeah, it is. Good eye from up here, Coach. But clock stops on the movement of the chains, and what we're gonna.
It doesn't look like it is though, because I guess they just moved the chains. But either way, the game clock is continuing to go down.
And we're almost at that 2-minute mark. We're 2:19 left in this game. Taft Greyhounds 28, West Oso Bears 6.
It's been a great broadcast. It's always learning what everything goes up in the up here in the press box and keep things exciting.
And there is a bobbled snap, the deep snap a little bit high for Suarez as the ball comes out of his hands and looks like it's going back over to West Oso as West Oso recovers the ball.
How about that right there? Did not expect it too much, a little bit of a high snap. We had seen that a couple of times, though, from, I believe, both sides. So just something that they did not want to happen ended up happening, but there will be 1:57 left. So there's only so much that West Oso can do, and if West Oso does indeed score on this drive, it's only going to be for basically that preparation to get your offense kind of rolling for not only this week in practice, but for that inevitable, or this upcoming week in practice, but that inevitable next game upcoming in Friday.
So West Oso has a chance to do something good here to end this game up, and that's what they're looking for. I'm sure Coach Smitty was glad to get the ball back just to get some more offensive reps for his offensive unit. And we went through the air once again as Peña makes the completed pass for a very little gain.
Looked like Rivera was the defensive player for the Greyhounds on that last play there, playing that cornerback position.
Peña hands the ball off, and we got some room to run up the right side of the field, gets to the 25, to the 20, all the way to about the 15-yard line or so. That was Daniel Esquivel with a nice run before being brought down at about the 16-yard line.
Yeah, nice job. Esquivel just found the open room and had a lot more space than what we had seen them be able to get. So nice job there. And it's going to continue.
Peña hands the ball off back to Esquivel, who finds some room to run, and it's a touchdown, Bears.
Did he cross the goal line before he was stripped?
It looks like they're going to make some calls here, and it looks like it was a strip at about the 1-yard line, so he didn't cross the plane, and it's going to be Taft ball. Let's see what the officials' final word is.
Well, the biggest question is, it does seem like it's going to be Taft ball, but will it be at about the 20 or 25-yard line because of a touchback, or will it be at that 1-yard line? Because it could have been that situation where it got stripped and it rolled into the end zone, but they landed on it inside. So it's a lot of that because it looked like it could have been one of those.
And it looks like that's exactly what it is, and that's something you don't see a lot. You know what I mean? As Escobar was getting ready to cross the plane, the ball's popped out, and Taft jumps on it inside the end zone, and it's a touchback.
Indeed, something that you do not see too often, but I mean, just how about that?
And I didn't get a number on the recovery or the strip on that one, but you don't see that happen too often.
Yep.
Esquivel thought he had 6, and next thing you know, the Greyhounds have possession of the ball late in the game again.
I thought he had 6. You know, you have to slow things down and really take a look at what was going on there. So with about 1:20 left, it looks like they're going to kneel the ball down and let that clock run. So they got a couple of opportunities to do that, to continue letting that clock run out. And while they do that, guys, let's give a thanks to Taft ISD and all the hospitality that they've given us. They've done a great job from top to bottom. Mr. Flores, would you like to tell us a little bit more of people that we need to give thanks to?
The maintenance people, they prepare the field for play and take care of the stands and make sure with everything that's going on with this COVID-19, the temperature check. Now we got a clear bag situation. If you're going to bring it back into the stadium, it's got to be clear. Hats off to all the maintenance personnel, because it's just not the coaches, the players. It also takes a big team to put everything together.
Definitely, and that's going to just about do it for our ball game here in Taft, as Taft comes up 28-6 with a victory against the West Oso Bears. And we talked about what's to come next for Taft. Taft playing 2 pretty strong games that I've been here, and that's a very promising start for this Taft team.
Well, we definitely got a good look at the Sanchez brothers. A couple of times there, Sean Suarez airing the ball out. Those little kinks still got to be worked out. But defensive side of the ball, a lot of positive things are happening on the defensive side of the ball. And, you got a lot of players that are coming in and out. Then you back to the offensive side of the ball, we're saying the interior line, whether we have the 260 average out there or we have the 290 average out there. They're making holes for Sanchez, and his running right now is on all cylinders.
Yep.
As far as the West Oso Bears, we see flashes of some really skilled players on that side of the ball. I just think from week 2, there's going to be a big jump in week 3. But they're going to face a tough Odom team, so they're going to be tested to the end. What do you think on the West Oso side of the ball there?
This team really has talent. Just like you said, they have skilled players on this team. It just looks like right now they have one of their toughest schedule. And also, to look at it, this is a team that has a couple of freshmen, but for the most part, a lot of players that are coming back that are juniors. Yes, you have your seniors, your veterans basically on the field, but this team, it seems like they're going to be able to come back for next year too. So my point is, they're only going to get better and better throughout this season and even into next.
Agreed. Any final thoughts from you, Mr. Flores?
It was a great game. Both sides, left it on the field tonight. Bears, like Jacob said, you got a young team, and they're getting it together. And you pointed out earlier in the broadcast, you get better when your 3rd game of the season is on your schedule. And they will definitely face a tough Odom Isle team next week, but they'll be ready. They'll be well tested, and they'll be battle ready to go. They'll be at home against the Odom Isles. They'll be at home, so that'd be a home game for the West Oso Bears. The Greyhounds that we talked about earlier will travel down to Freer, and that's going to be a good game. Freer, Breckaroos, they always put up a good game.
Thank you, Mr. Flores, and thanks for being up here with us today. Once again, you will soon take over the helms for the mighty Greyhounds, and I'm sure we're excited about that. Jacob, any final words from you?
Yeah, another great game from Taft, the Taft Greyhounds. Fantastic to watch both sides battle it out, and just looking forward. Can't wait for the next game, of course. And yeah, this team, both teams basically, they have some. They know that they're going to have some wins in their belt in the future.
So big names here tonight. Once again, we from the Taft Greyhounds. Steven Rivera with 2 touchdowns tonight. Jeremiah Sanchez with 2 rushing touchdowns tonight. On the West Oso Bear side, Jalen James with a beautiful catch in the end zone from his quarterback, Anthony Pena. I'm Marco Munguia, Jacob Young here with us, and Albert Flores. We're Real Sports Live, and we want to thank everybody for tuning in. Everybody have a safe night, and we'll see you next Friday.
Okay.